What's up, everybody? Man, so truth be told, let me kill this music a little bit. Truth be told, this live stream was planned for days. I got to take the L on this one. I totally forgot to promote it, so that's my bad. But yeah, we had this planned for a little while. I see Mike's in the chat. I actually see, where did he go? This guy, Matt, was actually an RO at Kalashnikon. He said earlier he would love to hear some feedback. We're definitely going to give you some feedback. That is going to happen. I hope everyone had an awesome Memorial Day weekend. And, I hope everyone has, anyone that has died in the line of duty in their thoughts today. That's what today is for. So I hope you had an awesome weekend. And you get a 3-day weekend, so that's really, really cool. There was either someone shooting guns or fireworks in our neighborhood last night. I couldn't tell the difference. I don't think either are legal this time of year around here. What's going on, Adam? Midwest Savage. So we actually have a bunch of people that shot Kalashnikon in the comments, so it's going to be good. We're going to talk about that. So the topics that we're going to get into tonight, I have a very special guest, Mario Parada. He goes by AK Poppy, just opened up a brand new company called SOF Defense. A lot of you know Mario. You've either competed with him at a match, you follow him on Instagram, you've met him at Kalash Bash or Lethal Weapons or Kalash Muss. You know him as being the head gunsmith at Lee Armory for years. He's very well known in the world of AK enthusiasts, very well liked, respected guy. And unless you're living under a rock, you would know that he's just opened up his own company. He's branching out. He's going to do his own thing. SOF Defense, he's doing his own gunsmithing work now. It's all him. So what's good about that is we know that this guy can build some sick-ass AKs. My prized AK, my OG Barrel 74 kit that he put together that I have just destroyed some competitions with while still keeping it looking so fresh, so clean, so original. My man built that. And a lot of you in the comments may have met him for the first time at Kalashnikon last weekend, where he took first place not once, not twice, but 3 times, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, scoring a first place finish in his division every single day with an iron sight 5.56 AK that he built himself. It was so good, in fact, at the end of the day, Sunday, he was passing this gun around to some non-believers. And it was pretty funny seeing people get wide-eyed feeling an AK shoot like his AK did. No K&S piston, like tuned gas. You'd never know it. It looked super stinky on the outside, but this thing was like a freaking hot rod, a sleeper cell AK. Like it just looked like someone had kind of done a really good battlefield pickup finish on a 74, but it was hot, man. So we're going to talk to him tonight, and a few points that I want to go over with him. How was Kalashnikon? How do we feel about it? What do we like? What do we not like? And how do we feel about the competition and the culture at that place? Because there's a lot to like and a lot to talk about. Also, we want to talk about AK building. I don't know of another guy that I would rather sit and listen to discuss AK building than this guy right here. And another topic, this comes up a lot, and we'll definitely touch on it. And that's why I'm wearing my jersey. Used to be a sponsored shooter back in the day, and they used to give these jerseys out to those guys. And that's another thing we want to talk about tonight. Mario shoots a ton of matches, way more matches than I do, and he wins a lot more of them than I do. Like, can't even hold a candle to this guy. We're really starting to notice something. Me personally, being one of the presenters of Kalash Bash and Lethal Weapons, working with guys like Mike and Land to help put on huge AK competitions, I hear a lot of criticism about this next topic, and that's jerseyed sponsored shooters coming out to these matches that I guess what rubs people the wrong way, and this is just what I'm hearing. This is not how I feel, it's just how what I'm hearing. I think it rubs people the wrong way when they come out to this thing that's so community driven. The Kalash Bashers, the Red Octobers, the AK Masters, these like core AK community matches, and jersey shooters. And this is what I'm hearing. Again, not what I feel. People get really upset when they see jersey shooters come out and quote unquote sweep the prize table. I hear it all the time. I get the emails after Kalash Bash. People really don't like that and they're passionate about it. Not everyone. And we have a really interesting perspective after Kalashnikon from the guy that wore a jersey on one day and did really well, didn't wear a jersey on the next day and did really well, and could see a difference in how people took him with the jersey and without the jersey. So we had a really long conversation about this, and I think it's a really good topic to bring up, why jersey shooters have such a stigma at these AK-only matches and why some of these guys don't want to wear jerseys anymore because of it, because they feel that they feel us burning laser beams. They don't like it. They don't like the way it makes them feel, and it's unfortunate, but we're going to talk about that. So I wore my jersey to let the hate flow through you. Anyway, without further ado, let me bring them on, man. I see everyone in the comments, so we're going to get to a bunch of your questions as well. And thanks for freaking watching. My man, AK Mario.
What's up, guys? What's going on, man? Thank you for that introduction. It was lovely.
I like your headset. Were you just playing Call of Duty?
Yeah. It's the only thing I had around right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll so he's at his buddy's house. We kind of caught him off guard, but but it's still cool. By the way, can you see everyone's comments, Mario? There's a little tab that you have to click, and you can see the public comments.
Yeah, I'm seeing them right now.
Okay, cool. So if you see a question that you want to get to, and I miss it, just holla at your boy, and I'll put it on the screen.
For sure.
So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're getting into these days.
Man, so I'm Mario Parada. Gave myself the name of AK Poppy. Just kind of messing around one time. Actually, I wanted to mess around with my wife. I was like, I wanted to see how many people would call me Poppy, outside of her. So it kind of worked because now when I hit the range, I just hear Poppy all the time. So it's kind of funny. But started off at Lee Armory as just one of the builders there, and then I kind of worked my way up to actually being the head builder, running the whole shop, overseeing the whole production of rifles there. At one point, we got to be right around 200 to 250 rifles a month, and I oversaw all that. Very little return warranties at those numbers, so I was very proud of that. But it got to a point where I wanted to do my own thing, and SOF Defense is what came about. I'm operational. I have my FFL, I have my SOT, I have my location. Yeah, everything's ready to rock and roll. I'll be fully open to the public. June 20th will be the first day where I'm like officially open to the public, where you guys can come down and check out the actual shop itself here in Phoenix, Arizona. But if you're not in Phoenix, Arizona, you can start as of now shipping me your kits, whatever you got. If you want to talk about a custom build or a competition build or anything AK related that has to be built, shoot me an email at sales@sofdefense.com, and I'll get back to you almost immediately. And the reason I say competition and custom builds because I feel now that the AK world has expanded beyond just regular kit builds. Now we have competitions, we have other stuff going on that that you could do more with an AK.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we've seen an explosion in people taking the AK seriously, not to just go shoot it at an AK only match, but taking it to matches where they're definitely the minority, shooting against ARs and everything else.
Yeah, I've had a couple guys that are 3-gunners contact me and be like, "Hey, I want to run an AK for the 3-gun season." So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm cooking up a couple of AKs right now for a couple guys that shoot 3-gun.
So before we get into Kalashnikon and some other things, I want to talk more about your business. So yeah. I remember years ago when Lee Armory came and knocked and offered you a job, and you took the job. How long ago was that?
Dude, that was, let's see, 19, 21, 5 years ago.
In 5 years, and like nothing against Lee Armory. I love Cassie. I love all those people. But one thing I give you credit for, I remember there was a time when, for whatever reason, Lee Armory, and I'll just tell it like it is, might have had a bit of a stigma about him. Like certain forums wouldn't even allow you to talk about Lee Armory. Back in those days, it was like you can't talk about Century, you can't talk about Lee and some of this other stuff. And it was really had nothing to do with the guns. It was, I guess, old leadership, which has since, it's all water under the bridge, right? But
Yeah,
I
that's kind of
remember,
what happened. It was the founders of the company kind of came in and created a splash, but not a good splash.
mhm,
They poked one of the big bears. And right off the bat, they got a bad rap. And a series of things happened that had nothing to do with the build quality of the stuff. But just you rub people the wrong way in this industry, and they'll do what they can to for you not to be successful. So when the Armory actually started in Wisconsin, and they moved down to Phoenix. And when they moved down to Phoenix, I was shooting competitions with my AK, and I would hashtag all these AK hashtags. And then the owner of the company at the time saw that, contacted me, and was like, "Hey, like you're like the only guy that I'm seeing out here running AKs at these competitions." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm literally the only one." And he was like, "Do you want a job, whatever?" And at that time, you guys believe it or not, I was a private client banker at Chase Bank. So
yeah, I remember
uh,
you telling me that.
yeah, I was a banker, and so I was making some pretty good money. And one day I was just like, you know what, let me take up this offer. Let me kind of give up this whole banking thing because I wasn't really too happy with it. And here we are today, man. Everything happens for a reason, honestly. And I saw like the problems that they had, and I was like, this has nothing to do with like build quality and stuff like that. And I knew me going in, I could increase the build quality. Um, and yeah, it was just I just had to grow the brand and grow the image, and I feel like that's what I did.
Yes. And that brings me to my point. I think you single-handedly came in, uh, became a really good builder in your own right, but the attitude and the perception that you brought to the company like totally changed how everyone felt about Lee Armory. You single-handedly did that. You made Lee Armory freaking cool,
Yep.
uh, and really started to make a name for yourself. And I used to say this all the time. I still say it. He's probably tired of me saying it, but when I saw Mario really starting to crush competitions, build some really cool stuff, even like these Mandalorian builds that you're seeing now, just all this cool stuff. Uh, I thought, man, this dude is like ingrained in the community. Even before he worked at Lee, this dude was out shooting AK matches. He was flying to
Yeah.
Texas to shoot matches with us to bring AKs. I mean, he was going to Red October. He was in the AK community, lurking on the forums and all. I'm thinking this guy is heavily involved in the community, builds AKs, works for a big AK brand, changed the perception of the brand, crushing matches, everything else. The way you look, the way you dress, the way you treat people. This is the face of the modern AK community right here. Like you do it all. Uh, and that's why I like you so much. You do it all from building to having a great attitude to you can shoot them freaking well. There's not a lot of AK builders out there. There's a lot of really talented builders that know the AK through and through. The Krebs, the Fullers, John and M13, these guys. I can't really think of any of them, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that will build it and are capable enough to not only go shoot it and look good on camera, but to bring home W's constantly with AKs they are building, even at matches that are not only for AKs. So that's what's so impressive to me, dude. It's almost like a guy building a race car and he's not paying a guy to race it. He's hopping in the driver's seat, and he's racing it, and he's winning all his own accolades. And the people are like, "Could you do that to my car?" Like, yeah, man. And you can tell them
Yeah.
exactly what the car is going to do because
Yep.
you're building it and you're doing it.
Yeah, that was one of the things when I first started shooting. Um, I started tinkering with my own rifles in all reality because I didn't have the money to send it out to people. Actually, John at M13 was one of the gunsmiths that I used when there was stuff that I couldn't do because there are certain things that I wanted on the gun that at that time I'd have access to, like machinery. So I'd send it out to John, tell John kind of what I wanted, and he'd do it. And still to this day, John's a really good friend and a big supporter of mine. So but when I started shooting, I started noticing things on the rifle that I was like, you know what, if I change this, and that, like it'll shoot better out here in these competitions. And there's the platform's always evolving into something better and better every match. Because every match that I go to, I find something uh, that could change for the better of the rifle or for the better of the performance. So I kind of just like I said, since day one, I wanted to be able to build them, shoot them. That way, when someone comes asking me a question, I know exactly how to answer it, and I know exactly what to tell them what the gun's gonna do when they're competing with it. That's like the main thing. I wanted to be able to be like, you know, I didn't want people to be able to BS me, like, oh, this gun's doing this. I'm just like, no, it's not. Like, I've I've shot the gun already. Like, it's not doing that. So kind of like my whole thought process behind it. And then also, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I was a high school athlete, so played basketball at a very high level, and that was kind of like my next competitive shooting was like my next thing of like getting into where it kept me in shape and just physically active.
Yeah, not a lot of people don't know that about you. And so you played on a semi-pro basketball team in Mexico for how long?
It was for a season,
For a
for a
season?
season down there. Yeah, it's like a couple months. But I was the total time that I was out there was like almost a year after high school. But that included like training camp and tryouts and stuff like that. And then it was very early on. This is like 2009. So the leagues back then out there weren't really as developed as they are now. Like now, dude, they're super developed. And yeah, this video right here. This video here. This guy here kept trash talking me, and he kept saying he wanted to play me for my beard. So I told him I was like, all right, yeah, I'll play you for beards. Like this guy had been warming up all day. And I was just walking around the event, not doing much. And yeah, I showed up and just beat him pretty bad.
So he shaved his beard?
Yeah, you'll see it in the video.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah,
I don't know if I agreed to that.
this guy was like hacking me, and okay, he could not stop me, man. And then yeah, you see it right now, man. We shaved his beard. Yep.
Bummer. Man, we got to Tony and I are always talking about doing crazy stuff like that at competitions. We're like, man, we got to have some stakes. Like
Yeah.
losers got to wear a man thong at the next match and let the strap show or something, like something dumb. I love the idea of playing for beards. It's a great idea.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm all for it, man. I'm all about like having wagers when we're competing. That's why that's like the only time when I get back on the basketball court is like when there's like a wager. If there's not a wager, I don't even want to play anymore.
Dude, you know what would be funny? Reach out to Calvin at Firepower United and say, all right, listen, we're playing for beards. And he's like, I don't have one. Yeah, you got to grow a beard for a year. You can't shave for a year if I win.
All right. Or for eyebrows.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. They play for eyebrows. But I saw you put a picture of Sheriff Lamb up there, man. Shout out my guy Sheriff Lamb, one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
best sheriffs, one of the best sheriffs in the nation. He's running for U.S. Senate now. Really, really cool guy, man. He's a big supporter of me and Kenny when we do our basketball stuff at Shot Show. Yeah, he's a great supporter of myself as well. So, shout out to Sheriff Lamb.
Cool. I see there's a ton of people wanting to ask you questions, and I'm trying to
Yeah,
keep
that's
track of them. I know a lot of people have wanted you to come on here. They see you in videos on the channel, on the Instagram all the time. Everyone in this comment section, I'm sure, knows exactly who you are. Let's see. A lot of people are saying they can totally relate to, being an athlete in a former life and how that
hmm
competitive mindset really does play into competitive shooting. Like if you really
Definitely.
want it bad enough, like you can put up some good times.
And it kind of ties to one of the topics that we were going to talk about. Like, I remember when I went to the first Kalash Bash, and I saw, if my mind serves me correctly, I think it was like Neo's, uh, and I think it was like Zach Smith. I can't remember who's a couple other guys, but all these guys were like sponsored by like Century. Who was like the other bigs? I think it was only Century that really brought out like some heavy hitters that year because it was like the first year.
Mhm. Yeah.
And but they were all driving like the fancy sports cars that they were able to rent, and like they were all um, I just remember looking at them like they had the cool jerseys, and I was just like, damn, like yeah, I want that. I was thinking that to myself, and seeing them out in the range just really motivated me. Yeah, to do better the following year and learn more. So, but then I saw the other side of where they were getting a lot of hate. I didn't understand the hate because I was just kind of like, well, these guys, I'm pretty sure worked their ass off to get to be here.
Mhm.
And that motivated me a lot. That first year, seeing those guys for sure.
Yeah, there was a ton of comments on that topic earlier, but I want to
Yeah.
save that for later because it can be kind of spicy.
Yeah.
Let me see. If you guys have any questions for Mario, now's the time. Let's take 5 minutes and let Mario answer some of your questions. Keep in mind, I don't build AKs. People are always asking me AK building questions, and I'm just like, here, DM this guy.
DM
Bug
that guy.
him with
Yeah.
those questions. So
I
now
saw that
is
guy.
the time.
I saw he mentioned Davernov. Shout out to Davernov, man. He's being a big supporter of mine since he started his business. So shout out to Davernov.
This is probably my favorite Davernoff rig that
Yeah.
he's ever made is your snakeskin rig.
Yeah. He's actually made me two. So he made me one that had the 4, and then later on, I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to be running the gold plated gun finally at a match. And he goes, wait. He goes, I got a new product. He goes, instead of 4, it has 3. He's like, let me send you that one. And he sent me that one. And yeah, I like the one with the 3. So it's pretty comfortable.
A bunch of people keep asking this. Okay, I talked to Cody on the phone yesterday. We are scheduling a weekend as we speak to do the PSA full auto meltdown. That's coming. I know some people are asking.
Nice.
Let's see. Will SOF run a production gun in the future?
So, okay, this is what's going to happen with SOF when it comes to production guns. I'm going to be doing kit builds, custom builds, right? First, and then I'm going to be doing quarterly drops of rifles. It could be, for example, like the first batch that I'm going to drop is going to be a batch of Bulgarian 74s. But they're going to have some American parts because I couldn't find complete kits, but I found partial kits. So the first drop that I have, it's going to be some Bulgarian 74s. And then the second drop is going to be the first line of competition AKs that I'm going to drop. So it's not going to be large number of production rifles. It's going to be small batches, and it's going to be every quarter because I'm really focusing on is doing kit builds and custom builds. So I will have production rifles, but like I said, it's not going to be something that's going to be always available. They're going to be dropping quarterly.
Word. What kit did you build on, or what kit did you use to build on your gun at KCON? What was the base kit?
WBP, Polish kit, 5.56. Great baseline to start with. A lot of fitting goes into those kits, a lot more than I would like, but once you get them all nice and fitted and going, they can make some great rifles.
And this is the gun that we're talking about here on the screen.
Yep.
Mario, Jersey Mike's or Jimmy John's?
And neither. Quiznos.
I'm the same way. What do we like? We like Schlotsky's.
Yeah. I had Jimmy John's once. I'm not a big fan of cold sandwiches. I grew up in a Mexican household where all of our food was always warm, so I'm not a big fan of cold food.
What is a caliber you think would be perfect for an AK that isn't currently offered by one?
That's a good question. Let's see. If we could get one, I don't know, man. There's
a shitload of calibers already, you know.
Right, yeah, and not only that, but the best caliber AK that exists, in my opinion, is the 5.45.
Yeah, I mean, they have 22s. There's 308s.
Yeah, there's 6.5 grand now.
There's 30-06s. There's 410s. There's 12 gauge, 9 millimeters.
5.45 is the best because it's a high pressure round, but not as high as like a 223 5.56. So the tunability with 5.45 is amazing. See, every time I think of AKs, I think in a competitive aspect. That's just kind of, I'm a product of the environment, of the competitive AK scene. So every time I'm thinking about AKs, I'm always thinking about shooting them competitively.
Yeah, I kind of get the same way.
Right.
In your opinion, is the ALG trigger for the Galil Ace worth it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah, it's way better upgrade than the factory trigger, that's for sure.
Jerry K, this guy's a really good machinist in his own right. He says, question, yeah. Mario, gas port size on a 5.56 AK?
What are you doing? Are you are you going to set it up for a fight gun or, competition? Because you can mess with different sizes, that's for sure.
Let's say Let's say he wants something defensive, highly reliable. Maybe not too worried about recoil.
Yeah. Let me look at my. I have my sheet here where I keep my phone on my notes where I keep all my notes of like all the drill bits that I use. And you could do. Get your way. A 0.070. That's a good size.
Let's say they want the lowest amount of recoil while still functioning.
Lowest amount of recoil while still functioning. Oof. See, I start messing with the springs at that point.
Okay.
But the 0.70 is where the magic happens for me. I could drill to that at that, and then that size basically cycles everything, and then from that point you can start messing with the springs and a couple other stuff.
Got it.
That
So
you can start doing.
0.70.
Yeah, I
Make
can't.
your gas port tight like a man's anus, and then the magic starts to happen.
Yeah, well, I like that's the size that I like because, like I said, after that you can start kind of tuning everything else around it.
Freedom Seeds, I remember him. I think in fact he's got the picture. I think this is Dead Man's Life on Instagram. He's got the cut down M90. He said, Mario, what the F do I do about this 102? Talk to you at KCON about it, and I think I killed it today. So did someone talk to you about a PSA 102 having issues?
Yeah, I think it did. Shoot me a email, man, at sales SOF Defense, and then get that thing to me. I get you squared away.
Maddie says, Mario, I've got a PM63 underfolder kit I need to finish. Want to help a brother out.
Send it my way, brother.
Boom. There you go. And good thing right now, the more that people jump on, the longer his wait gets. But because his company is new, his wait times compared to other really good AK Smiths are vastly shorter. So if you've been kind of turning your nose up at a 6-month wait time, this might be your opportunity.
Well, it's funny that you say that because our good friend Mark Krebs, he shot me a call and was like, "Hey," he was like, "How many people do you have in your queue?" And I was like, "Well, not many right now." And he goes, "Okay, I got some kids coming your way."
So that should tell you guys something. Mark Krebs is trusting Mario with some of his prized kits. Mario is a very good builder, and you can trust this guy with your work.
Yeah, he's sending me an M21.
Our favorite Las Vegas DJ, the ivory and gold gun is so beautiful. Yeah, that gun is, and you compete with it, which is insane to me. But you've competed several times with it.
Yeah, several times now, and I'm going to continue to do it as well.
Kevin says, just send a kit to Mario. Can't wait. Got to send the last few pieces and some cigars.
So he is actually the first person that has shipped me a kit, and he was the first one that I received. So thank you, man. I appreciate the support. There's a couple guys that have shipped their kits already, but he was the first guy for sure.
Senpei says, better be careful. Might receive a cease and desist for burning down the gun. Hey, they know I'm doing it. All right. They knew what was going to happen to it. B NATO AK says, why is the 5.56 caliber your choice for competition? I already know the answer, but maybe the less educated need to hear.
The only reason that is my only choice for competition right now is because of the availability of it. That's the main reason. If 545 was available, I'd be using 545. But because of the availability right now, that's why I'm using 223. Well, I use 223. I don't use 556, and there is a big difference. 556 is a high pressure round. It's a lot more snappy. So even when you get it nice and tuned, the rifle is still pretty snappy. That's why I use 223.
Gustavo says, how much are the build prices? So I know this is very difficult to answer. Let's say I send you a parts kit with all the, let's say it's just a Romy G AKM, and I give you all the parts that you need. All I need is it built and finished.
$500. So if you have all the components, you have the kit, receiver and barrel, and if it's straight up and down, just like you said, AK build, nothing about tuning it or anything like that. You want all the AKM specs. It's $500, and that does not include Cerakote. If you want Cerakote, it's an additional $180.
Pay it. You want it refinished.
Right.
Gun Day says, met you at Lethal Weapons. Oh, on the bus. I guess you were on the bus. And gave you some earplugs. Hope you remember me.
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I do remember you. We were on the bus and I got off and I'm like tapping myself down. Like, I'm like, fuck, I forgot my ear pro. And then I look over at him and he kind of sees me that like I forgot it. And he like pulls out some ear pros, some foamies. And he's like, you need some? I was like, yeah, man. So yeah, bro. Thank you, man.
Unit 2814 says, where are you getting these 74 kits? Because you said your first line was gonna be 74s.
Yeah, so these weren't complete kits, unfortunately. They were like half Bulgarian 74 kits, so it's like I'm still missing the French trunnion and some other parts. French trunnion barrel, obviously receiver. Let's see what else. What was missing on them? I think the dust covers were missing, but everything else, like the bolt and everything else, was Bulgarian. So luckily, I was able to scoop those up from someone that had them, and then I'm basically the parts that are missing, I'm replacing them with American parts.
Word. Okay. Finley says, have you ever ran an Alpha or a Zenitco kit in a competition?
I have not, but I let my buddy Dominic borrow my Alpha clone 105, and he did very well when he shot it. So, but I have not ran one myself personally.
Oops, missed his comment. Sorry, Josh. Do you have a brand preference for ammo?
Yes. So this is something that I when I'm building a AK for a competition, especially for a customer, my first question is, what ammo do you have access to the most? So with my 223 AK, that's what I did. I basically built a gun based around the availability of the ammo. For me personally, it was the PMC Bronze 223. I've had nothing but good luck with that ammo. It shoots great. It's clean. It groups amazing through that barrel. 1 in 7 twists. And like I said, I gassed the gun just perfectly right with that ammo. And I could buy that ammo whenever I need to. I know that I could go down to True Shot Ammo Club and they're going to have pallets of it at any given moment. So I'm never worried about it, not being available. So, yep, PMC Bronze.
I know that's what you ran at KCON as well.
Yep. It's literally the only ammo that rifle has ever seen. I've never fed anything else for that rifle.
Derek Smith says, I have to ask, opinion on Zastava Z-Paps.
I mean, they're AKs that are built, overseas in big government funded facilities. So you're gonna have some great ones, and you're gonna have a handful of lemons at times. But for the most part, you're gonna have a lot of good ones.
William says Galil Ace versus a 5.56 Baril. Like, I guess if you had to pick one in 5.56, what would it be?
Gresham's gonna be mad at me.
Let your inner AK guy out.
Yeah, the Burrell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Gresham.
Both have their place. I like both for different reasons, but if I can only have one, it's the Burrell for me too.
So, Matt, Mario, how do I reach out to you? Sorry, I read another comment here. How to reach out to me? If you guys email me at sales@sofdefense.com, that is going to be the fastest way to get a hold of me. I literally have a whole nother phone that only has that email on there, just so I can respond to you guys.
Very cool. All right, let's do a couple more, and then we'll get into our post KCON wrap up. So I'm very eager to talk about that.
If you go back to the picture of where, yeah, so that's the setup that I had for Red October of Vegas. That's the same 223 gun, but I just had like a different setup. I was still kind of experimenting with the setup that I wanted to go with, and Yeah, I wasn't too fond of the whole tactical fully look. So, um, and then that SLR rail has a lot of flex on it, more than I like. So that's why I went back to a, just regular handguard.
I think the wood was cool because it was way less assuming. Like
Yeah,
at a distance, the only thing that gave that gun away was that muzzle brake. Otherwise, it looked like just a 74
yeah.
with some wood on it.
And the SLR stuff, there's a lot of flex in it as well. Um, so I kind of stopped recommending it a while back ago for guys that wanted to run competition.
Mhm.
Um, there's too much flex in my opinion.
And for some reason, that stuff just doesn't turn me on. It's the same exact aluminum extrusion that they would use for the AR. It just looks too similar. It's never
Yeah,
really turned me on.
yeah.
Next question. Can we roll to the SOF to buy a shirt and take a picture with you? Do you have a storefront people can visit yet? Or will you be letting people come in the door? Is it like appointment only?
So the schedule, I'm going to release it here shortly. I'm going to be open Wednesdays and Thursdays to the public. And basically, those days I'm going to be available for people that need like a trigger installation, that need a muzzle brake installation, like just little simple tasks. I'm going to be available those 2 days. Thursday, Friday is going to be by appointment only. Um, Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays I will be closed because Tuesdays I have to focus on just building and don't want to be interrupted. And I will have a storefront. The storefront will have like a big grand opening, and that's going to be in October. June 20th will be just me kind of opening up the doors and letting people bring in their AKs for work and stuff like that. But the storefront won't be ready to go until October. But I will have a storefront. I'm
Cool.
trying to make it the number one like AK destination where you could just come on in. If you're looking for something that doesn't matter, down to the smallest spring, it's going to be in there.
Do you have a YouTube channel? Clicked on the wrong comment, but yeah, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but it's been years that I posted on there. I usually actually do like weekly vlogs all the time, and that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I got super sick, and I stopped doing them because I got super sick. And then after that, I just never really went back on to do them.
Robert, thanks for the tip, man. Tips $5. Robert says, I have an
Hey,
Oval 11 fixed stock. Can it be built on an underfolder receiver? I always wanted a Polish AKMS.
yeah, with the proper receiver.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
All right, let's get one more really good question here. And thank you so much for the tip, Robert. It is
yeah, because
not
I could
very.
it'll basically be demilled and then built on the new underfolder receiver. So yeah, we would just have to get the proper receiver, then get it demilled.
I believe you already answered this question. How do people reach out to you? Email Mario at SOF Defense. Let's see. One last question. Let me pick a good one and then hold your questions because we don't want to miss them. After the next topic, we'll get back into it. Here's a good one. Kalashnikon says, with all the options available now, what are you liking for adjustable gas?
So the OCAM or ALCOM, whatever you want to call it, adjustable gas block is very, very good. Has 6 gas settings, um, and all the sizes on each setting are perfect. Brian is a genius over there. So that is a very, very good gas block. And the adjustment is super easy. It's basically just a turn of a knob and you're there. You don't have to disassemble your gun. You don't have to push a button to twist it. Nothing. You literally just give it a couple twists and you're ready to go. Actually, I used that block for Neo, the combat accountant on Instagram. He was one of the guys that shot with me for the SOF team for KCON on his 74 that he shot on Saturday. It had that gas block on there. That gas block makes my job a little bit easier now, as to before. I would basically hand tune everything because I wouldn't use K&S pistons or anything like that. So those adjustable gas blocks, especially Brian's, it's a work of art. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got one being installed as we speak. All right.
Yep.
If you had a question and we didn't get to it, copy it, paste it in later. We're getting into our next topic, and then we'll come right back to questions. I know we've got over 160 people watching right now. Clearly, people are really wanting to hear what you have to say. But last weekend, 2 weekends ago, we shot Kalashnikon. If you don't know what Kalashnikon is, I believe they're in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments. This was their 4th year. I believe it was the 4th year. They do it twice a year. They do a winter con and a summer con in Houston, Missouri at the, I believe it's called the Big Piney Sportsman's Club, if I'm not mistaken. And it's kind of interesting the way they set it up. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 3 matches in a weekend. Friday being a team match, Saturday being its own 2-gun match, Sunday being a separate 2-gun match. So you buy tickets for all 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, whatever you want to do. Mario shot all 3 days. Rachel and I shot Saturday and Sunday. This is an AK only match with a pistol with some interesting rules, really hardcore penalties. No mags. All mags must be retained. Pistol mags are downloaded. And some of the targets that you have to shoot are extremely difficult. And for an AK match, it's got one of the longest ranged stages that I've ever encountered at an AK only match, 600 yards with moving targets. It's pretty crazy. So we were there. We were joined by Rachel, Kalashnikon, Neil Vermillion, the combat accountant, and a bunch of other people. Our squad be popping. It was awesome. So how did you like the match? How do you think you did? What'd you like about it? What'd you not like about it?
So we came in Friday. Me and Neil shot the team match. The team match was great. That was my first time ever shooting a team match, so that was pretty cool. And honestly, I enjoyed just about everything in the match. I think the only one thing that I didn't enjoy, but this goes to every match, just not just specifically to this one, is the stage guns. I'm not a big prop gun, stage gun kind of guy. Not just because it was done there, but when it's done anywhere, I don't like it. Um, I'm bringing my gun because I want to shoot my gun. I really don't want to shoot another gun, you know. Outside of that, everything else was great. There was no complaints for me on that end. Um, One thing where the match can improve, and this is just me being like, I guess, picky or just trying to make the match be a little bit better, uh, would be kind of just their availability, I guess, to Wi-Fi, so they could
Yeah.
so they could sync their scores faster.
Oh, I
Because
thought because you needed to post a TikTok or something. My bad. Go on.
no. This is strictly for the scores, because they had a mistake on, I believe it was Saturday, and it was a very easy mistake that could have been fixed on practice score if they had the Wi-Fi. But since they didn't have the Wi-Fi, they had everything have to do everything manually, and that's why we were delayed almost what hour and a half for the award ceremony. So that's it, But that's minor stuff, That's not even, you know, that's not even anything that I would be concerned about too much if I was, the match director there. And the stage stuff, I mean, that was only one day, which was Saturday, where we had to use stage guns. On Sunday, which when we didn't have to use stage guns, or Friday, everything else was great. Um, I liked having to retain your magazine. I thought that was different, but it was very, very fun having to do that. Uh, Also, it gave me an excuse to hit a Davidoff and make a whole new rig for that. And I also enjoyed that it was a 2-gun match. That's very, very different. Mostly all the AK matches around the nation are just a rifle match. This is actually a 2-gun match where you have your rifle and pistol. And if your pistol game wasn't tight, you know you suffered. That was for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the penalties are very, very steep. So this was one of those matches where I knew if I shot clean that I would do very well. So yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I the throttle I definitely I held it back, make sure I got all my hits, make sure I shot clean, um, and I knew if I did that, I knew I'd be good to go. And luckily, yeah, that's what it was. Take your time, get all your hits, smooth, and it was all good. With a match like this, you acquire one or two penalties, at 30 seconds each. At With it only being a six-stage match, there's not enough time or room to make that up. So if you and another guy going neck to neck the whole time, and you get one penalties, that's 30 seconds. And if you guys are off each by 1 or 2 seconds each stage, you're not going to make that time up.
Very true. Yeah, I feel like if one person were to do okay, but shoot the entire match clean and complete every stage, they would podium. Like the penalties are that severe.
Yep.
Uh, I agree with you on the stage guns. Uh, I love the vendors that came out. There's nothing against the vendors, but I've even seen some of the ROs in the comment chat just now say they've talked about it. Won't happen again. But just for anyone looking to do your own match and you want to play nice with sponsors, sponsors will ask for a lot. There's a lot of ways to make them happy. One thing you don't want to do is turn that experience into a negative. You always want sponsor gun experiences to be positive for the people coming out. So something I would do with those guns wouldn't change a thing as far as implementing them on the stage. So for instance, if there's a carbine on a stage that isn't yours, they could run up, shoot the carbine at some targets, get their hits. Oh, hell yeah, that was awesome. Take a step back, get ready, beep, and then start their stage. They got to shoot the sponsored gun. The sponsor gets to see all these people shoot their gun and get feedback, and it doesn't affect anyone's score. So it can still be on the stage. You should just start the time after we shoot that sponsored gun. But I know they've already talked about that, and that's an easy fix. I take a lot of poops and pee-pees. I would like a porta potty here and there, like closer to the stages. That's one thing I was telling Matt about. Said there's 2 bathrooms on property. Thank goodness they're both unisex, so it's not just like what if one of those bathrooms was male only, dude, we would have busted that plumbing. And think if it was all women, they'd all cycle up and wreak havoc on the plumbing. I mean, we got to get some porta potties out there, but that's a minor thing. Was there anything else I didn't like? Man. Oh, one thing. And this I'm not even sure if it's worth it because each day there's only about 100 shooters. So I think adding more divisions might not be a good idea. But if they were to separate some of the big calibers from the small calibers, as in 30 cal doesn't have to compete with 5.45 and 2.23, I think that would be cool. But then you would have a shitload of divisions. You'd basically have all the divisions they have now times 2 in big bore divisions. If they were able to grow the match to like 150 plus shooters, I know that takes more stages and more squads to do that. I would definitely appreciate separating the calibers.
Well, the way they could do that is they could get rid of the magnified division and basically just have
An open division,
light, an open division. So it'll be light irons, heavy irons, light open, heavy open, and that's 4 divisions. So there'll only be one more division than what they have already.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yep.
So if you separate it that way, it gets you everything that you want. So you're separated by caliber, and then you're separated by irons, and then open. So that's the way to go about it, in my opinion.
Someone also made a good comment. The extra porta potties are nice. Maybe a shower trailer for those of us that waffle stomp. Think about it. But yeah, okay, things I liked. I love how difficult it is. I shoot a lot of matches all year. I know you do too. Easy matches are fun, but I feel like the more you shoot really easy matches, you don't progress. After shooting this match, I feel freaking hot. Like I can conquer the world because it was so hard and was so demanding physically, mentally. I mean, dude, some of these stages were freaking brain busters with what you would have to remember and do in sequence. I love the difficulty. I feel like I wish I could shoot a match that difficult every other weekend. I feel like I would be such a better shooter than I am now. And I'm not good because I don't get to shoot matches like this all the time. I love the 600-yard stage. I think that's everyone's like favorite stage. Like we talk about it all year long. When we prep for KCON, we're always thinking about that 600-yard stage because it is so rare to shoot out to distance at a carbine match. It's very rare.
Yeah, I was so ready for that stage, man. I don't know if you noticed, but my demeanor changed immediately as we got up there. It's like I just went quiet, didn't talk to anybody. I like sat up there, just stared at the targets, and I was like, all right, let's get through this. And I was ready for it, man. I love shooting distance with irons. It's one of my favorite things to do.
The one thing, and the other thing I love, I just love that you can shoot 3 matches in a weekend. So typically if you sign up for a big match and it's like 12 stages over 2 days, you bring one gun and that's your gun for the whole time. Maybe you have a backup gun that keeps you in that same division. What's cool about KCON is I'm like, Saturday I'm going to shoot a Draco in non-magnified. Sunday I'm going to shoot a 5.56 AK in Iron Sight division, and I can have two completely different experiences all in one weekend. That's my favorite part about the event as a whole.
And you know, another thing, another favorite part of this batch was for me was the ROs.
Mm-hmm.
The ROs were so chill, so fun. Uh, yeah, the ROs were just super cool, man. They dealt with all the dumbass answers. I mean, all the dumbass questions Neil had. Um,
Every stage. Gamer question.
yeah,
Yes.
and they handled it so well. And they were honestly like, this was like one of the first matches that I went to for the first time, and my first time being at that match where I felt very comfortable, and it was due to the staff and the ROs.
Yeah. In fact, there's one here in the comments now. Maddie, that was our spotter at 600. This guy was losing his voice. I mean, think about it. This guy had to call shots for 100 shooters all day long, yelling, high, low, you're low, high, left, right,
And
every 10
not only
minutes.
that, not only that, but he was spot on corrections as well.
Mhm.
That was very impressive to me. So Matt, good job, man, because your corrections were spot on and helped out a lot of guys.
Yeah, Matt, I told a lot of people that were getting a little intimidated when we got up there. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, this spotter will walk you in. You are going to get to 600. Just do what he tells you. As long as you kind of know halfway what your dope is, just do what he says and he'll walk you in. Uh, it's really cool. I mean, there were clearly people that came to KCON that have never shot that far. And with the help of the spotter, made hits they've never made before in their life because they never shot that far, not with an AK. You talk about patting yourself on the back. Finishing a 600-yard course of fire with an AK makes you feel freaking good because it ain't easy at all.
Yep.
And freaking Mario did it with iron sights in like a $120.
It was 118.
Okay, 118. My bad. Yeah, crushed it.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was fun. And what made that stage even better was that moving 300-yard target.
Yeah, you can kind of see it there on the screen to the left. You see it moving?
Yeah.
You'll see it in a little bit, but yeah, it was cool and hitting it. So I know we were walking up to that stage and we were like trying to game it before we read the description. We're like, okay, I'm gonna take all the far stuff out first. I'm gonna leave the mover for the end so I don't par out. And he's like, got to shoot him in order. Damn it.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see it there on the screen. You see that moving target? Yeah,
Yep.
shoot that at 300 yards. It's difficult.
It was. I hate to be this guy right now, but it was difficult, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be.
Is it because you had a spotter? Is that what made it a little bit easier?
I think so. I think that's like probably like a big percentage of why it was easier to do, but also I think we were overthinking it. Once when me and Neil got in the car and we started driving back to Airbnb and we started talking about it, he was like, "Dude, we overthought this." I was like, "We definitely did," because if you see my video that I posted, I'm like a whole target ahead of it when I'm shooting, and once I was kind of just like, you know what, my bullet is traveling at 2900 FPS, like that's not that far. This thing is getting there, in less than a quarter of a second. Stop holding so so in front of it, and then once I held right off that that left edge, squeezed off the round, it hit it.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I kept trying to lead it or ambush it, it wasn't working.
Right. So some people were asking. It was actually 5 targets at 300, 4 stationary, and then the one was moving behind them.
And shooting the first 5 actually got you your hold that you needed to shoot the mover. So once I shot the 5 at 300, it let me know exactly where I needed to hold as far as for elevation. And then after that, it was just finding the correct hold of where the target was moving. And at that point, it was kind of I think it took me maybe 4 or 5 shots, and I was able to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, in my mind, the 600-yard stage was a cakewalk compared to the baseball stage. Targets that are I can reach out and touch. The 600-yard was easier than that.
And see, and the baseball. I mean, you saw me shoot that one. I wasn't worried about that one just because you know who prepped me for that. I talked to Zach Smith, and Zach Smith told me, he said, do not shoot straight at them. He said you have to clip the sides. So if you saw the baseballs, a lot of them had like the holes just straight through them.
Yeah.
And there's on the video that I have, you can see where like I'm shooting it, and it like on one of them it just goes straight through. So what I was doing, I was holding top corner of them, so I was hitting them on the edge and spinning them off. So that's what Zach Smith told me. He's like, you have to hit the edge, he said, and spin them off. And with that advice, I was able to kind of get through everything.
Yeah, it was definitely doable. Like Sunday, freaking crushed it. Or Saturday, I did well on the baseball stage. Sunday, I did not. One bit of advice: don't make my mistake. The way divisions work at this match, your pistol has no bearing on your division. You can have a super raced out pistol. You can bring a Makarov. It will not change your division at all. Bring the most capable pistol you can possibly set up with a dot. You'll thank me later. Don't run irons because just don't. So Mario had a good strategy on the baseballs. On the day that we were using iron sight guns, I was trying to do the same thing I did with my Draco the day before. The Draco, I took out all the far stuff. When I ran out of ammo, I went for close stuff with the pistol. So Mario's running a dot with his pistol. So he saved the far baseballs for something that he had a dot. And he just swept all the close targets with irons, clipped them all off with the dot, and just destroyed the stage.
Yeah, that was kind of just like the plan, with the pit. And it was funny. Remember, I told you with the pistol, I was gonna remove the red dot, and that's when I called Neo and I said, hey, I was like, do you know the rules set for this? And then he asked Matt, and Matt was like, yeah, there's no rule set for pistols. So I left my dot on, but I was about to change it, and good thing I didn't, because that was a big help during the match. That dot, even in the next stage after that one, when you were in the van and you had to shoot the steals, and you only had 10 shots. So you had 10 shots and you had 10 targets. So if you missed one, that was 30 seconds. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was so difficult with an iron sight pistol. It's like not even worth, regardless of your division, not having a dot on your pistol at KCON. Unless if they ever wanted to like start getting more strict with pistol rules, if they don't, put a dot. I don't care what you show up with, put a dot on it. Because there were some stages where the pistol was make or break, honestly.
Yep. I think they should keep the pistol rules the same. I think a two-gun match where you could just bring the pistol that run the pistol that you brung. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I obviously you shot great. A point I wanted to make on the squad that you squad with, you're with that same squad Saturday and Sunday. So even though it's two different matches, they don't make you change squads, which is kind of cool. Our squad had a mixture of very capable shooters to middle of the road to just starting out shooters. One thing I will say, and I've noticed this, and Mario, I know will back me up on this. I've shot matches where I'm just squatted up with like a bunch of homies. We're screwing around the whole time and we're just having fun. I do okay. When I squat up with people that I'm taking notes the whole time. These dudes are destroying stages. Like they know exactly what they're doing. They're highly experienced. I shoot better. Our squad arguably had two of the best shooters on the property, Mario and Neil Vermillion. And the entire squad is just watching you guys, like taking notes, watching how you game stages, asking you about holdovers, which targets you're shooting first and why you're moving to the left instead of the right. Every little detail about how you game a stage, you only get that from experience, because gaming a stage is like, I would say, more than half the battle.
What are you doing?
Right.
What's up, Mateo?
All right, man, back up, bro.
What are you doing?
I'm on live with Clay, man. This dude just got out the pool and he just come interrupt the live, man.
Oh man,
get out of here, man.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Anyways,
yeah.
when that happens, like you two elevated the entire squad. I mean, on our squad alone on Saturday, myself, Kyle Moore, Bolts and Holes, and Neil were all in the same division, and we had a 1-2-3 finish. We had no idea what anyone else's scores were. We were chasing each other. And when Neil is setting the bar so high every time, I mean, we know how hard we have to pump to get to that bar. And I think because Neil did so well, Kyle and I just were on his heels and got to the podium. The same thing was true when I'm chasing you on Sunday. You did so well with irons. I knew how good I had to do, and I knew how I had to crank it up to 11 because Mario was at 12. And because I had like the leader right in front of me watching, doing it, just trying to do what he did, but a little bit better, I managed to podium with him after bombing 2 stages. So the point is, if you shoot with really talented shooters, it can only make you better. You're only as good as the people that you play against. Same goes for sports. So you guys, I mean, there were people on our, like freaking Fluffy finished 5th in his division. What was that? His 2nd match that he's ever shot in his life. It rubs off. It definitely does. You elevated everyone on our squad to just shoot to their utmost ability. And that's what shooting with really good shooters can do.
And I like to pride myself in the fact of just kind of like, I want to help people shoot better, you know. And when I'm done shooting a stage, you know, even prior to shooting a stage, if someone has a question about the stage, I'll help them as much as possible to do as well as possible on that stage. And helping other people do well on the stage helps me because it makes me think a little bit more about the stage. It makes me think, you know, okay, like what could I tell them to help them do better on the stage? Then it kind of rubs off on me as well. So I enjoy shooting with people that ask me questions, and want help. And with me, I'm always chasing an imaginary guy out there, you know, which sometimes I say it could be true because there has been times where it's true. Perfect example for Lethal Weapons. I'm always assuming that there is a guy out there crushing it. I'm assuming that there is a guy out there running iron sights, destroying every stage. That's just my mindset that I go to every stage. Some matches it works out and there wasn't that guy doing that and turned out I was being that guy. Then there's other matches that there is that guy, you know, like Lethal Weapons. I think the dude's name is I know his last name is Morris. He won the heavy retro division. And apparently this guy is like he's won every division for Texas 3 gun. Super good shooter. And this guy was just he destroyed everybody, you know, with iron sights. So yeah.
Daddy, where did Juju go?
Juju went back out there. So yeah, that's kind of my mindset in the match. It's like I always feel or I always think there's someone else out there crushing it, and I'm chasing them, even though that person may not be there at the match, but in my mindset there is, you know, and that's why I can't drop the ball on any stage. I just have to focus and shoot the best I can.
Yeah, I saw you get into that mindset. Mario would destroy a stage on irons. And I'm like, damn, bro, feel good. That was freaking phenomenal. And you're like, I don't know, man. Somebody out here is crushing it. We're all hearing him say that. We're like, nah, dog. Nobody's shooting that good. Like, relax. Possum said, no, I know, we saw it. Possum says, you don't ever help me on the stage, Mario.
Yeah, that's the one person I don't help.
No, because Possum likes to sign up for bets, and then when he loses those bets, he never pays up.
I mean, I give him an easier way out on our bet, but if anybody was here on the chat that was present when me and Possum were trash talking before he had to go up and shoot, and he basically had a boat gun, that was comedy. That was straight comedy that day because I basically told him that he was going to do awful on the stage and that he was going to have a boat gun, and I feel bad because that is what happened, but it was kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, for Bika. He's the guy that won the butt gun. He's got the butt tattoo.
Yeah.
I think the loser had to like turn the keys to their Instagram over to the other one. It was supposed to be for like, I don't know how much time, but Mario gave him an out. Yeah.
I think the out was worse, honestly, because we were at a public restaurant and I basically told him he had to go in the restroom, take a picture of his ass at the public restroom of this restaurant. And here he is, pants down, doing the whole thing like this with his phone. And as he's doing that with his phone, a couple guys walk in that know him, and they're like, "Possum, what are you doing?" And he's like, like, don't judge me. Matter of fact, take the picture for me."
Don't judge me.
So yeah, so they ended up taking the picture for him, and then he posted it on his story.
I was trying to see if he had a picture of that on his Instagram. I saw the picture and I'm like, what was that? And then I realized, oh, he was paying up for losing the bet. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that leads us into our next topic. So to close off on Kalashnikon, awesome, highly recommend it.
Yep.
I wish they could sell way more tickets. I think, and I know how it works. You can only sell so many tickets while having so many bays to have a stage. You know exactly how many squads you can have, so I know. But if there was a way where they could like double the attendance, I think that would be awesome. People would buy the tickets. Matt, whoever's in here, if you're listening, people would buy 200 tickets to that thing. Easy.
Yeah, it was a great match. I'll definitely be back next year. I'll definitely be sponsoring, hopefully at a bigger scale next year, because I enjoyed this match a lot. It was different than any other AK match I've been to. Each AK match has its own culture and its own environment, and I really like the culture and environment of this one. I enjoyed it, man. I'll be back for sure.
Yeah, the culture was great. Not only did you have this whole match going on, the people that show up here, I mean, dude, before the match, we're walking through people's campsites just bullshitting with people while they're getting their gear on. Like, there's no one saying, hey man, I'm trying to get in the right headspace for this next stage. Like, there's never that. It's a bunch of grab ass, a bunch of male on male cat calling. It's just a bunch of fun. And then the wholesome part of it, dude, every single person that gets called up to the stage is getting a standing ovation. Every single person, from first place to last place and everything in between. Everyone there is super cool. I don't feel like I met a single person that I didn't like. Not a single one. Everyone there was so welcoming, so open. It reminds you why the AK community is such a special thing, because it is so tight-knit and very giving. We had some friends out there that just on the spot were organizing raffles to get money together to send to Tango Tactical. And Neil's throwing in mags. Kalash Kamaz is throwing in a uniform. Other people are throwing in mags. And we're just like on the spot doing a raffle just because we wanted to help out a friend. And they raised, a few $1,000s. Raffled off some denim chest rigs. It was cool. And then, just hanging out with everyone at the Airbnb. Everything about that is awesome. The culture there is great. It's really good. So let's talk about some issues with the culture, if you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got something on my jersey. Oh, no. It was just my sponsor's name. Sorry. So we were talking at the Airbnb after the match, and I know Neil would be okay with me saying this, so I think we can talk about what we talked about, because it's kind of silly that people get mad about this, in my opinion. I think they get mad because they don't know what they don't know yet. And it makes them mad. So we were sitting around the campfire smoking on some stogies, because we smoke stogies wherever we want. And we were talking, and Mario kept saying all weekend long, he's like, dude, I feel like I can't enjoy getting first place. I'm like, why? Freaking killed it. He's like, I don't know, man. I feel like some people think I just flew in here and I'm just like sweeping the prize table and I'm flying out. Like, I'm not a part of the community. I just came in, crushed, and I'm bailing. I'm like, bro, everyone knows AK Mario. No one thinks that. And then he's like, man, I feel like people see me and Neil come in here. We shoot matches all the time. We're just coming here to shit on people and leaving. And I could tell that was bothering you.
Yep.
Because, and this is something I hear all the time, and there's merit to why he's feeling this way. Kalash Bash has been going on 4 years, and it's no secret a big match is going to attract some highly talented shooters, or some sponsors are going to hire some hired guns that may or may not really be into AKs all that much, but they'll put on their AK, pants and go shoot the match and usually destroy, and they take their prize and they go home. Yes, that absolutely happens, but we hear this after every Kalash Bash. I get emails, and because we ask for feedback, and one thing that everyone wants us to change, I don't say everyone, this is maybe 5 to 10% of people overall that shoot the match. It's usually new people or like hardcore AK enthusiasts that don't really have an open mind to the topic. They say, I don't like it when jerseyed shooters, people that are not one of us, come in, sweep the prize table, fly away, and they're never to be heard from again. I hear that a lot.
Yep.
And I would say maybe 1 time out of 10, you're right. That person, they're not an AK person. They're getting paid by the sponsor. They come out, they do their thing, they bail. But 9 times out of 10, and I know a lot of these guys personally, I know Mario does too, just because they have a jersey on doesn't mean they've never built an AK. Doesn't mean they don't have an AK Files account. Doesn't mean they don't have a safe full of AKs. It doesn't mean that at all. So Mario hears all these things too. And at KCON, he's feeling that sting. He's like, damn, man, I feel it. So we're talking with Neil around the campfire. Neil wore a jersey on Saturday, destroyed, crushed. Mario wore his good buddy Mario's SOF t-shirt the next day. It's not a jersey. And destroyed again. And Neil was saying, dude, I could feel a difference of how people felt when I had my jersey on compared to not having it on. I felt that difference. And Mario, you yourself said, dude, a lot of our homies that are heavily sponsored shooters don't want to wear jerseys anymore because they'll go to these matches and they feel that sting of people going, goddamn jersey shooter, man. And they don't want to wear jerseys anymore. So what's your take on that whole thing?
So you were there. I was being a little bit hard on myself just because, like I said it before, like I'm a product of this, community, of the AK community, of the AK shooting competition community. So I didn't want to feel like, I didn't want the crowd to feel like I just came, got all these prizes and I left. In our reality, all the prizes that me and Neil both got, we actually gave them away. And that was kind of taking, a little bit a toll on me just because, like I said, I want people to be able to come and enjoy these matches and not feel like, they're coming and, oh, I'm not going to win anything. Like these guys are going to destroy me or whatever, I want everybody to enjoy the match. I want everybody to do well. And on top of all is I just want to be part of the community. I just want to be one of the guys hanging out, sure, can I shoot irons well? Yeah, I can. Do I do well? Yes, I do. But at the end of the day, I just want to be one of the guys that's hanging around the campfire with a cigar in their hand, just with everybody else. So sometimes I feel like, when you start to win, people tend to forget that you're just like them. You came out, you wanted to have fun, and luckily you were able to shoot pretty good. That you won something. But at the end of the day, I'm just like everybody else. I want to just come to the competition to have fun.
Yeah, I see a lot of people in the comments feel the same way. They're like, man, who cares? But it is a thing. And, being in the position that Mario and I are in, we are in a position to hear that feedback. People talk my ear off about it all the time. In fact, there are two matches happen on that same weekend, AK Masters and KCON. So a lot of people went to AK Masters, and literally the day after, I had several DMs from people that shot AK Masters that were like, hey, how was KCON? Was it cool? It looks really chill. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. Of course it's chill. And these are 3 different people that I'm talking to through DMs that don't know they're messaging me or don't know I'm talking to all 3 of them. And they're all saying the same thing. They're like, man, I like how KCON looks like it's not, overran by jerseyed shooters. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. And I'm like, well, I've been a sponsored shooter. Am I one of these guys too? And these people are like, well, AK Masters, it was just all jersey shooters. They won everything and they left and they weren't nice to people. And, they all squatted together, and I'm hearing the same thing to the point where I know some of those dudes, these scary jersey shooters. And I'm like, God, the guys they're talking about, if they only knew, Zach Smith, for instance, I watched this guy weld an AK together and go win Red October back in 2016, 2017 timeframe. Welded an AK together, what you're not supposed to do, and won the match. This is a scary sponsored shooter that people talk crap about. Kyle Litzy. Yep. This guy went to his first Red October. I think he was like watching dudes like me and you shoot. He'd never even shot a match before and said, wow, I want to do that. Built his own iron sights and will literally F you up with an iron sight 7.62 AK. And you can be running in the open division with optics. He is an AK guy through and through. He's a scary sponsored shooter that people talk crap about. Guys like Sully, who is a freaking angel and is just an awesome dude. Highly talented sponsored shooter. Wears a jersey, has a gun that matches his jersey. Freaking saint. But people that don't know, they see this group of heavy hitters. They come in, they're all dressed the same. They win, they go home. They come in, they win, they go home. They don't know any of the backstories. They judge these guys at face value. They have no idea that some of these dudes are hardcore AK guys, but they're there because they are phenomenal shooters and they got noticed by somebody. There's no shame in that. They got noticed. Someone tapped them on the shoulder and say, hey, you're freaking good. What would it take for you to be that good with one of our guns? Can we help you out with expenses, make things easier on you to come to these matches? Some people would be like, hell yeah, shoot on a lower budget. Yeah, sign me up. I just want to shoot competitions. And they sign up for it. That is nothing to be upset about if they come out and win. It's not like someone just gave them all that talent. They earned it. Some of these guys couldn't afford to do this kind of stuff if they didn't have sponsor support. They have talent. This is no different. We talked about this, Mario. This is no different than some kid living in the ghetto that is really fucking good at basketball. He's got no chance in hell of ever going to college. Guy gets noticed and gets a full scholarship. Nothing wrong with that. He never would have had the tools to use his skill. Sponsored shooters, it's the same thing. But for some reason, some people give them a bad name.
A lot of the times, the sponsored shooters, they have put in a lot of their time into their craft and a lot of, money as well. So when someone can come in and help you relieve some of those financial burdens of shooting, it's pretty nice, and not only that, but the expenses of travel, it's very, very expensive to make it out to these matches. So that's another reason why a lot of people can't go is just because the expense of it. So if someone, puts in the time and money to become that good and then be able to stand out and get picked up by somebody, I mean, I think that's a great thing. I know myself with SOF Defense, I'm trying to build a team, to come to these matches and I'm looking for those guys. I'm looking for the guys that are committed and that are AK guys through and through. A lot of these dudes that come, the big sponsored name guys, they are AK guys through and through. They'll talk your ear off about AKs, if you sat down and you talk to them. So yeah, man, I feel like I said, I think me myself personally, after the KCON match, I think I overthought it. Coming back home and kind of just sitting down and talking to Neil, everything was cool afterwards. But definitely for like all the other guys, that don't go to these matches anymore because of that, those are the guys that we got to invite back into the community and let them know that they're more than welcome.
Yeah, man. I can remember when I first started shooting matches after that first Red October, when I heard being a sponsored shooter was a thing, I was like, how in the hell can I make that happen? I mean, some people that competitive shooting thing, that bug really bites you and you learn really quickly. Like there's a whole upper echelon to that. Like if you get really good at it and you go to enough matches that means something, there are sponsors out there that might be selling the stuff that you're going broke buying to shoot these matches. Well, that person might notice you and go, hey, listen, like I see you using our stuff. What would it take to maybe, you wear one of our t-shirts, maybe wear a jersey, like we'll give you the stuff for free if you just keep doing what you're doing because you're freaking killing it. And we like your Instagram, we like your YouTube, whatever, where we just like you. We would like to sponsor you. That is awesome when that happens. Talk about feeling really good and feeling like you're doing something good enough and someone noticed. Like you put in the work and it finally meant something. You're honestly doing a good job. It's an awesome
And,
thing when people reach that level.
and another thing too, man. This is gonna sound pretty corny, I think, but um, there's also a lot of pressure when it comes to expecting to win. I was talking to Rachel about this when we were out there. You know, Rachel asked me. She was like, "Is it hard?" She was like, to everybody expects you to win, and to shoot well. I was like, it is. I was like, because as soon as you step on the premises, it's like, oh, here he goes. This is Mario. He's gonna win. But you're just human like everybody else. You can have a bad day. You can have an off day, and if you didn't perform well, then everybody's gonna be like, oh, dang, what happened to him? Why he didn't win this time? So there's also that aspect of it, as well. So because I know I've been there before. When I was coming off recovering from COVID, uh, what was that? 2020? What was that, Clay? 2020?
2020, yeah.
What match? Yeah, coming off that, or 20. I can't remember what it was. I think I won in 20 the irons division, and then the following year when we came back, I just didn't have my lung capacity, and I ended up being fourth in the division. And I kind of felt that the little whispers of like, oh, what happened to Mario at this match, but no one knew that I had been recovering from pneumonia and had been cleared to do any physical activities, a couple weeks before the match. So, you know, it's just one of those things where you don't know what people are going through, and another cool thing too, like that Neil told me, he goes, all right, what is a sponsored shooter? Is it a person that put in the time and got a sponsorship? Is it somebody that's just very marketable and someone was like, hey, throw this jersey on, you're marketable? Or is it some asshole that had $60 and was able to order a jersey online and just put all his friends' logos on it?
Yeah.
Because in our reality, my buddy Neil, he's not a sponsored shooter. That jersey was made by Brian, and he basically put all his friends' companies on there. I'd be lying to you to tell you that, oh, I paid for Neil's travel expense and all that stuff. I didn't. Neil literally reached out to me and said, hey, are you going to Kalashnikon? I said, I want to. And he said, this trip would be a lot easier. He goes, if we do it together. He goes, I want to help you launch your brand. I want to launch you, help your business. He goes, let's get out there and shoot it together. He paid out of his own pocket to get out there. He paid for the Airbnb. We have, the car rental and all that. And this guy literally ran the gun that I built him, promoted it, and I didn't pay him a single dime. And that's just all out of love from his friendship to me. So I couldn't be, like I said the other day, like I couldn't be any more blessed than what I am with a group of friends that I have, because they all want to support me in the biggest way they possibly can. So, people thought he was a sponsored shooter. Well, guess what? He wasn't, because I didn't pay for a single thing for him. He paid for his way the whole time. He just wanted to help me. He wanted to represent my company, which I'll be forever be in his debt for that.
Yep. Neil's a good dude. And
Yep.
as are a lot of Jersey shooters, they're all really good dudes and girls. So think twice before you send me those emails after Kalash Bash, now that you've sat through that. Anywho, I'm glad we finally talked about that. And, I would love to have Neil on one of these live streams one night, maybe all three of us. Neil is definitely a wealth of knowledge, so we got to get him on here one night as well.
Yeah, it's funny because me and Neil talk about this all the time. Here in Arizona, man, we're just like middle of the pack guys. There's a very, very large group of shooting community out here that are very, very good. And when it's not like an AK match and it's like a 2-gun match or a 3-gun match, we're in the top, maybe top 10%. But there's other guys that destroy and crush out here, So we know where we're at as far as like shooting wise goes, and when we go to the AK matches, we're always just like, hey, we're good. But there's some other guys out there that they're really, really good.
Maddie tips $5. Thanks, Maddie. That was our spotter at 600. He said, Neil's a good dude. I loved being a spotter for all of you. Hey, man, you're a great spotter. And the man himself is here in the chat. Make sure you go follow the Combat account on Instagram as well. And if you're not following Mario, you can find him at AK__ Mario. You can find him on SOF Defense. He'll have a link on his main page as well. Neil posts a lot on his page. I was actually talking to Kyle Moore, and he was like, after we shot the long range stage, he said, I learned a lot when Neil was just posting videos about long range shooting, getting dope on guns. Neil just drops these little information nuggets from time to time. And Kyle was like, dude, some of Neil's videos have made me a better shooter just watching this dude talk on Instagram. Neil and I have had discussions in the past about trying to put something together, some footage, some videos, something, just getting his mind out there into the world. He has a ton of experience. He's also a veteran. He's a really good guy to a really good ear to bend at these competitions for sure.
One of the things that I want to do, and I'm going to do it with the help of Neil as well through SOF Defense, is we want to provide all the tools and all the knowledge that you're going to need before a match. And then at that point, it's going to be up to you, if you're going to shoot that match, to apply those things into your preparation of the match. But we're going to give you all the secret sauce, everything that you need to know to prepare yourself for a match. That way, when you get to the match, you have all the tools in your toolbox to perform. Because at that point, it's an even playing field for everybody. There is no secrets. Everybody knows what they need to know. And at that point, it's just about, shooting and, who prepared the best. Because one of the things that elevated me was my dope, my dope card and knowing where my holds were at. And once I figured that out and I combined that, with my athleticism, that's when I started doing well. Another thing was stage planning. Out here, there's a range called Rio Salado. It has some of the most complex stages you'll ever shoot. If you could stage plan and prepare there, you could stage plan and prepare anywhere. So that was another thing, is just stage planning, knowing your holds, and just being prepared for the match. For example, I knew that with this match, we were gonna have to retain our magazines. I never run dump pouches. I'm not a gear guy. I've never ran any of that stuff. So what I did know is that I needed a dump pouch. So I contacted Davinoff, made up a rig in my mind. I was like, you know what? I think this rig would work perfect for me. Davinoff brought it to life for me, and it worked perfect over the weekend. But that was me just mentally preparing for the match on the whole magazine retention thing, and doing it as quickly as possible, because a lot of dudes that I was seeing is they were getting their old magazine, their spent magazine out of their rifle, putting it in their belt or on their pouch, and then from there getting the new one and then rocking it in, which all those little seconds add up to your overall time, compared to just taking the mag out, dumping it, new one in. You were back in the stage. So that's kind of, like I said, preparations of the matches and your gear and all that. It goes a very long way, especially your gear. You could be the best shooter in the world, but if your gear's not up to par, it's going to slow you down.
Hey, your boy's in the chat too, Davinoff.
Hey, let's go, my guy, Davinoff. Yeah, man, dude. Thank you so much, man. Like I said, that rig was it was perfect. It was perfect for this match. You know me, Clay. I like to fly very light at matches. Most of the time, I'm basically just running one mag carrier and that's it. But for this match, I knew that would not fly. So this was a perfect time to get one of these chest rigs and the dump pouch, going.
What would you say if you have accidents like this? How do you bounce back from something so crushing as falling on your face in front of the entire squad?
Just do it like Neil did. He just got right back up and just kept going about his business.
He almost did a full scorpion. I thought it was going to continue the roll. Watch.
I wanted
almost
a roll.
Over. Damn.
If he would have done a roll, that would have been so perfect. I was hoping for a roll.
Hold on. I think there's some audio here. Hold on.
Playing a game of whack fuck here. Whack.
Oh man.
and the fact that he posted that on his page, that's what makes it so great. I think he posted all the bad stuff that he did at the match, instead of all the good stuff that he did. So that kind of lets you know the kind of guy Neil is. He's not afraid to show you guys, the entirety of his shooting.
That jersey's pretty dope too, man. I gotta say, it's a good looking jersey.
And that's one of the things down here, with the Pro 2 custom shop, my buddy Brian over there. Brian it's a custom Cerakote shop. Everything that leaves that shop looks good. So down from the Cerakote to the Kydex to the shirts, he designed those shirts. So, that's another cool thing is that, he's repping not only like, my brand, but he's repping the Pro 2 custom brand, which is a brand that's always doing very, very cool things, artistic things in the gun world. So yeah, man, look at like the tiger stripe with the Miami Vice print on the sleeves, and with the blue, the Tiffany blue. Yeah, man, that jersey's dope.
Kyber Customs brings up a good point about gear. What color purse did you pick on the hit it with your purse stage at KBTX22? Because I know you had a minute to choose, and I know you're a gear guy. So what color did you go with?
Damn, I can't remember. I think it was the white one. I think the white one. I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, I could see white on you. It would match your gold AK with the pearl.
Yeah, definitely will.
Word. I didn't get to shoot it, so I didn't get to accessorize.
Yeah, and you guys, these jerseys, anybody can make these jerseys. They're not like, it's not something that like is unobtainium. You could literally go on any jersey making website, Techwear or whatever it's called, and you guys can make your own website. Pascal in Germany made his own.
Yeah, he just made his own, and he looked like a sponsored shooter, but he just made his own jersey.
Exactly. So you guys could go get these jerseys made. Like I said, if your friend has some sort of company, or you guys have like some sort of squad or clique or something, you guys could all get together, get matching jerseys, and look great.
So if you look at the jersey here, I mean, that jersey's okay. But Neil's jersey, that's a nice jersey.
That's pretty nice, right?
This jersey, I mean, that's okay. That's your basic. Just basic is really the only word for it. But this one here, this is like some Tiger King shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good stuff.
And you should see all the other ones that he designed. You've seen Zuli's with like
oh, dude, let me. Zuli's is rad, and his gun matches. It's so cool.
Yeah. So that's Brian's goal right there. Brian's goal is to have everybody's gun match their shirt and their Kydex gear. There it is. Yep.
Look at that shit.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Yep.
That's some of Brian's Cerakote work too.
Yep.
Hold on, where's that pic? Oh yeah, right here.
Yep. Look at that,
dude. You know what's so crazy about Sully? The only time I've ever been around him is when I go shoot a match that you guys are shooting. And from day one, he has been the nicest dude. I mean, dude, I will upload a video of me taking a like farting on camera on YouTube. It can be a throwaway video. Sully sends me a text. He's like, "Hey brother, saw your video. Great video. Hope you and the wife are doing great." Every freaking Sunday morning, I'll get a text from Sully. I don't even do that with people. I can't keep up with that. Just that dude's a freaking angel, man.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy, man. He's definitely a good person to have in your corner, and he knows I have his back with whatever he needs.
Something you said earlier, I wanted to touch on a little bit. Let me go back to you, boy, here. So back to SOF Defense.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that, and the package that you wanted to offer was something interesting. Let me put something on cool here. Yeah, that was a good run. So you made that 5.56 AK. You brought it out. You knew your dope. You knew how you wanted it tuned. You knew the ammo that you had to run with it. Like, it was like a package deal gun. You have to run this ammo. If you run this ammo, here's your dope sheet. Can't go wrong.
Right.
So you said with your company, you want to make people, you want to give them every tool possible to be as capable at a match as they possibly can with an AK. So if they buy an AK from you, it's going to be tuned for a certain type of ammo. It's going to come with a dope sheet, and you're going to like basically tell them, hey, this is exactly what you can expect out of this gun. If you follow this list, if you use this ammo and use this holdover, you're going to be successful at a match. Just, this is why you had me build your gun. You have to trust me on this one. And this is all coming as like a package deal. You get the gun, the dope sheet, and it's tuned for a certain type of ammo. Because in your own words, you want people to be as successful as possible with that gun at a competition, not necessarily like at defensive carbine classes and built for suppressor use, but for that particular AK that you're building, you've seen the explosion in AK matches and people wanting a capable AK. Having a turnkey AK with rock and lock mags and a dope sheet is pretty freaking cool. I don't know of anyone else doing that with the boutique AK builders.
Yeah. So I'm gonna measure my success with my company not by the amount of wins I have at a match, but by the amount of wins or the amount of people that shoot my rifles at a match. Because that is my sole goal now with SOF Defense is to give people the tools necessary to perform at the highest level at an AK match or any match, to be exact. And yeah, that's the package deal that I want to do. I want to make sure that people have a well-oiled machine when they get in their hands, and it's just kind of just like, okay, you know, here's the Ferrari, here's the keys, and this is how you drive it, and as long as I could do that and the person behind the gun does their job, the gun's going to do their job. And if they do the right preparation, they're going to have success. They really are.
By the way, in the chat, Brittany has been blocked. Sorry. This is why I need a moderator in the chat. Like I don't see it when that happens. I had a question. This is a two-parter for you and Neil. Neil, if you're still in the chat, let me know. People ask me all the time. They're like, yo, Clay, when are you going to start giving a class on like a beginner's course into competition shooting? Maybe specifically setting up an AK and how to shoot an AK at a match. I'm not so sure I'm the right one for the job. So here's what I propose. If you have it in your head that you're going to have like these comp ready AKs that are rock and lock AKs, not AR magwells, but rock and lock AKs, and you're going to go the extra 9, zero them, give them a dope sheet, tune it for the ammo. Is it totally out of the realm to think maybe one day you could say, hey, twice a year, maybe once a quarter, if you buy a gun, you get a free admission to the class. If you already own a gun and just want the class, maybe you give like a one-day beginner's course on gaming stages, setting up your AK for success, and just being comfortable in a competitive setting on a match.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely in the works. I don't have any prior military or like law enforcement experience, so I always thought that was like almost a requirement to be an instructor. But now, as I see the instructors that are out there right now, that's definitely not the case. And especially for what we're going to be teaching, we're not going to be teaching combat tactics. It's going to be basically competition tactics and how to do better in a competition setting. So yeah, I'm going to do a package deal of potentially a build class where not only you come out and you build your AK with me, but then we actually go hit the range and, I show you how to zero your gun, get you your dope for your gun, and then just give you all the tools that you're going to need to be successful at a match.
I would love that. So like if I had heard, hey, at this date in Phoenix, come take a how-to beginner's class on running an AK at a competition, Mario Parada and Neil Vermillion.
Yep.
That would be, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like we talked about earlier. I shoot matches all the time. Just being on a squad with you guys made me shoot better. So there's value in that with all these. I'm not the only one saying that. Like there's 15 other people on that squad that were going, man, I wish I could see these dudes shoot all the time. Imagine if there was a class that you could take where you're around you two for a day. You've got a few courses of fire set up. You're reading these people courses of fire. And then you're like, all right, so you've read the paper. What can you do on this stage and what can you not do? Because you have the rules right here. If it doesn't say like all the little things, like doesn't say you can't do that, like all the little things that you don't get until you've shot half a dozen matches. And then you start to realize, oh, there's little things I could have just dreamt up for the stage because the rules didn't say I couldn't do it.
Yep.
All those little things.
It's one of those things where jokingly I say, it's better just to do it and not ask questions, especially if it's not written on the piece of paper. And that's where the gamer title or the gamer name comes from, right? It's like you're gaming each stage. So that's one thing that I learned from Neil specifically is how to read stage descriptions and then be like, okay, well, I could do this because in the stage description it doesn't say I can't do it. Like one of the biggest regrets that I ever had was asking the RO if I could jump on the hood of the vehicle to shoot. which nowhere in the stage description said you couldn't. So if I would have just done it from the get go, I would have been, in the clear. Maybe I would have had, someone would have been, I would have been talked to afterwards. But it's just about, like you said, learning and gaming the stages, and outside of gaming the stages, stage preparation. I know I keep talking about that, but the video that you're playing now, these are stages at Rio. Right here, if I'm not mistaken, I'm shooting out to 200 and 300 yards, and then when I'm done doing that, I'm shooting the tiniest piece of it's like these little clay targets at close distance. So you have to know to hold over, and then mixed again with distance. So Rio prepares you for everything. It prepares you for up close stuff. It prepares you for distance. It prepares you for stage planning, and that's why there's a lot of good shooters out here in Phoenix, Arizona, or in the Valley, because we have access to stuff like this. And if you surround yourself with stuff like this, you're going to have success in the competitive scene. And that's why I'm so competitive, or shooting competitive driven. And when I think about AKs, for the most part, I only think about them in a competitive setting because that's what I'm surrounded by.
Neil makes a good point here. He said, not every competition is a gunfight, but every gunfight is a competition. YouTube competition training channel is in the works. Just want the best and easiest to consume end product. Well, I hope the channel's coming, Neil, but I'm telling you guys, if you're good at something, Mario building AKs, for instance, to quote the late, great Heath Ledger as the Joker, if you're good at something, maybe you shouldn't do it for free. Yeah. And I don't think you should do it for free. If there was a master class, if it was once a year, and Neil and Mario were just going to spend a day with you giving you pointers on gaming a stage, I would pay for that class gladly if I was into competitive shooting, certainly with an AK. And let's think about this for a second. I'm going to try to name them all right now. In 1 year alone, you can shoot Clash Bash, AK Masters, Kalashnikon twice a year, WinterCon, SummerCon. You can shoot Red October Cold War. You can shoot Red October, regular old Red October. Thunder on the Tundra in California, I think it's called Red Labor. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some. And then every month we have, Texas Kalashnikov, which is a monthly AK match. And just the other day, we found another AK monthly match in like Michigan or something. I don't remember where it was on Practice Score, but they're out there and they're blowing up. So because AK only competitions are becoming so popular, there should be ways to specifically train only with an AK at competitions to be successful. Nobody out there is teaching those classes. Nobody. Yep. So to have some guys as talented such as yourself offering something like that, that's valuable to a lot of people. And I feel like people would go to that class.
Yeah. And another thing too is I know Kyle Litzy and Zach Smith offered a couple of classes before a match previous years for Red October, and they had a huge success with that. I just think their schedules got a little bit too busy. Mm. And then I also know Frolich, Josh Frolich, he hosts one in May, I believe. The only thing with Josh's thing is that it's like in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So the good thing about with us, even though we live in the city in Phoenix or in the Valley, our access to ranges is, I mean, you've been here.
They're everywhere. You throw a rock and hit a range in Phoenix.
Yep. So we're spoiled in that sense, and not only that, but we have the ability to have access to these range. It's like a lot of these places have ranges, but it's like, oh, you have to have this, only on this certain day you could do this or that, blah blah blah. Like, no, here, we have access to them, Sunday through Monday. So that's a good part.
So, you mentioned Josh giving classes, and Josh is like as high level as it gets.
Yeah, he's a world champion.
And that's awesome. However, I love Josh. He's I used to say it for years, like he is my absolute favorite professional shooter just because of what he did with a freaking Saiga 12, like beat the whole world. I thought that was so cool. He did it with an AK.
With an AK, right.
How it's just something about you specifically, Mario, that is very relatable. You don't have to convince me that you are an AK guy through and through. I know that. So if I'm gonna take a class, specifically on being successful with an AK at a match, I don't know, man. There's just something that gives me the warm and fuzzy about learning from you and a guy like Neil.
Yeah.
That I would rather pay money for that.
Right.
Because I know you're gonna teach me with a rock and lock AK. You're gonna teach me on iron sights, maybe even some red dot and some magnified stuff. But because those are real divisions.
Yeah.
And some AK matches, I mean, it's going to be 99% rock and locks. You're going to have some AR mag-fed stuff, but it's going to be rock and lock. And there are iron sight divisions as well. You specifically could give a master class on running iron sight AKs at competitions.
Yeah, I think I joke about it sometimes with the guys that that shoot for other teams. But they're my friends, so I could joke with them like this. I always challenge them to shoot the irons division, and they always say you're crazy. They don't want to do it. Outside of Kyle, no one else wants to shoot irons division because the difficulty of it. But yeah, I mean that's Neo made a point the other day. He told me, he said, he was like, just imagine when you move on. He was like, from irons to a dot or to some magnification, And yeah, dude, I feel it when I shoot a gun with a dot. I'm always just like, man, this is so much easier. But I just love shooting iron sights, man. I don't know what it is. I don't think I think I'll stop the day where my eyesight deteriorates. That'll probably be the day that I stop, honestly.
You wear glasses, prescription glasses, when you shoot, right?
Yeah, prescription glasses, because if you wear contacts with iron sights, it's your eyes are gonna start to water. Your contact's gonna get cloudy. So yeah, that's like another advice I could give to people when they come shoot. The class, like, do not wear your contacts while shooting iron sights. It will not end well.
Yeah, I've had to learn that the hard way up until maybe a year and a half ago, and certainly when I met the guys at Hunter's HD Gold. These are prescription safety rated yellow lenses. Red dots bloom with my astigmatism. It doesn't affect me with lenses, but with contacts, it does. And like you said, my eyes water when I'm really trying to focus wearing the contacts. I noted it was game changing only using glasses shooting a match for sure.
Yep.
So we've talked about a lot of stuff. People in the comments have been going crazy. Still have over 130 people waiting to ask you questions. So now if we haven't gotten to your question, now's the time. Just light the comment section up specifically for Mario. If Neil's still in the chat, you got a question for Neil, I'm sure he'll answer your question as well. But fire away. Now's the time.
Light it up, guys.
Rachel, if you're listening, I would love another tasty body armor or beverage.
That is actually the best flavor as well, the blueberry.
Man, I'm a banana strawberry dude myself.
Man, that's good too, but the blueberry is on a different level.
Blueberry's good. Not as good as banana strawberry.
Right.
All right, let's see. Oh, Jesus, where do I even start? Anyone here going to Thunder on the Tundra? Mari, you ever thought about going?
You know what? I am actually going to try to go this year. I know it's in August. I talked to my wife about it, and she thinks it's in the best interest of the company for me to go. So I'm going to start looking into potentially sponsoring it as well. I have to get in contact with some of the guys up there. I know one of the guys. I don't know if he's the host. I'm not sure. I know he's in charge of something out there in that match. I'm going to hit him up and see about attending this year. So yeah, I actually might go. Might as well.
Cool. Wick says, what's the best way to train well on a budget?
Oh, dude, I am the king of this. A lot of people think that I shoot thousands of rounds before a match. I do not. I could give you my exact round count of preparation that was for KCON, and that was 60 rounds. Everything that you shoot has to be with a purpose. You have to have a purpose behind every single shot that you take. Which is either confirming your dope or confirming how fast you could go and engaging targets where you feel comfortable and just making every shot count. For example, I worked about 40 rounds of just quick, transition from targets, and then the other 20 was just getting my dope. And then like the last 10 rounds were like getting my dope out to 400 yards. So as long as you make every round count and you have a purpose for shooting every round, you're going to get the most out of your training sessions. That's for sure.
I need to do that. I just end up mag dumping every time. Anytime behind a mini barrel, I've got one in that bag right there. I haven't shot it yet, but how about you, Mario?
I haven't had too much time. The most that I've shot one was Cody from Weapon Genetics had a full auto one at Lethal Weapons. Super beautiful gun. He did a beautiful conversion on it with a AK-100 series side folding stock on it. I was able to shoot that gun, and it was super fun to shoot. But I do plan on getting one for myself. So I hopefully I get more time behind one.
Cool. All right. Kyber Customs wants to see your best air reload. Wait, hold on, Mario. Wait, hold on. All right. Shooter ready? You understand the course of fire? Stand by. That was 2.5. It's pretty good.
I mean, those things have a mind of their own. So what I did there, guys, was click when empty, got a new magazine, knocked the old one out with my thumb, rocked the new one in, and then racked.
Yeah, we all saw. Wake says, thank you. I'll take that with me to the field. Every round having a purpose.
Yes.
Midwest Savage says, mag dumps are fun, but not practical for training. Who says they're not practical?
Yep.
You never know when you need to mag dump at a match. When you get really mad like I do and you've just totally bombed a stage on the last target, mag dump.
Mag dump, yep. That's funny.
I guess Kyber Customs wanted sound effects. Hold on. All right. Shooter ready? Stand by. Please wait for the shooter. Can you wait for the beep next time, please?
Sorry. I try to do that sound effects to it.
Does the shooter understand the course of fire?
Yes, I do.
Stand by. That's about a 3.5. Very good. All right, let's see.
Do you modify your iron sights or just stock? That's a good question.
Where is that?
Josh.
All right. Do you modify your iron sights or are they stock?
So, I do modify them. The front sight, it is your standard posto. That's the one thing I don't touch. Clay has seen this on some of them that I do. It's I knurl or I checker the top of the front post, and then I also knurl the back or checker the rear sight. That way it doesn't get any glare when the sun beams down on it. I also round out the back of the rear sight. I just round the edges, and that's it. That's basically what I modify. But by doing those things right there, it goes a long way by your eyes picking up the sights, and especially when you do the checkering. The checkering is a huge difference for the glare. It works. It works very, very well.
Mountain Gunner says, getting into shooting my AK suppressed, should I invest in a KNS piston or adjustable gas blocks? I have a Wolverine, but I also have a Huxworks can in jail right now and thought about just running those.
Okay. KNS pistons work great. I have nothing bad to say about them. It all just depends on the route that you want to take. An adjustable gas block, unless you could do it, you're going to have to send it out to a gunsmith. The KNS piston is something typically that people can do at home. Not everybody can. Sometimes I understand that it's pretty hard to find that rivet on your carrier. So kind of, I'm just going to assume that you have like some sort of, mechanical skill. So a KNS would be like something to easily do at home. Adjustable gas blocks going to be a little bit more involved, where you might have to send it out to a gunsmith. So just depending on the level of what you can do, either or are great options. But if you wanted to do something that was like the fastest way to adjust your gas, it's going to be an adjustable gas block. Oh, what's the smirk, bro? Farted. Come on, bro. Another question for you: how often do you train, and what sorts of drills do you find to be most relevant in competition? Clay, you're muted.
My bad.
There we go.
Another question for y'all: how often do you train, and what sorts of drills do you find to be the most relevant in your competitions?
You'd be shocked. I think everybody's gonna be shocked by this, but I don't train often. At the Lee Armory shop where I was before, I oversaw a whole production of rifles, and on top of that, I am a husband and a father to two kids. So I don't have much time to myself. But when I do train, it's typically I'll start training about a week or two before a match, and I'll dedicate maybe about 2 days out of the week, maybe 2 to 4 hours. And like I said, the drills that I do is just very basic stuff. Um, uh, a lot of it has to do with dope data, getting my dope, securing that in, and then once I do that, I'll shoot just as fast as I possibly can, transition between targets back and forth, getting into and out of shooting positions. A lot of the times, I don't even shoot when I do that. So I'll go in, get into a shooting position, line up my sights, pull my trigger, but I'll be empty. And then I'll get out of that shooting spot. So a lot of times, what I'll do as well is I'll get into a shooting position and then work on getting out of that shooting position as quick as possible. Um, so just little things like that. Footwork's another big thing. Um, have you ever watched like football linemen training where they do like the ladder and steps like that? I'll do things like that, just get my footwork right. And that's kind of like the stuff that I do. I kind of treat it like an athlete, just kind of you train kind of physically and also with a gun as well.
All right, all good stuff. Bangy, you're dead. Bang, you're dead. 987 says, do you mod the latch or the stock for side folder lockup?
The stock, not the latch. It's kind of hard to get in on the latch. So if you do it on the stock, I'm assuming you're saying that when you go to lock, your stock is not fully engaging, your latch is not fully engaging. So you actually want to remove material from your stock, not your actual latch.
Let's see. Are you a Niet rifle is fine guy, or it's your gun, do what you want guy?
It's your gun, do what you want gun. Do what you want guy. Yeah, you guys can do whatever you want to your AKs. There's only a certain amount of things that I won't do to AKs if people ask me to do them. And that's like, make my AK into an AR. Like, I'm not really into that. But outside of that, like, yeah, I'm open to anything. I mean, I put an AR mag on the AK before for somebody.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty open.
Incredibly average, my man Mike. He says, I guess I'm going to have to snag one of those Occam gas blocks and have Mario install it.
Yes. Please do so.
Jacob, my ears. Let's see. Why are so many AK guys trapped in that sinkhole of a state? Oh, he's talking about Illinois. Yeah, it's a bummer. He can't have suppressors up there. A couple of people have asked, I think you've already answered this, how many rounds per training session with ammo prices right now?
It all just depends, Ideally, like I said, this last one I used 60 rounds. I was being just a cheap ass, I guess. But ideally, I like to be about 200 to 300 rounds before a match. That's like the perfect round count for me before a match to get prepared.
K-Fez says, given all the new options to modernize the AK, what do you think is the best option? The SAG MK3, maybe the new Midwest Industry stuff, Zenitco? Like, I guess if you had to completely overhaul your AK with one vendor's parts, who do you think's doing it the best?
Currently, let's just say there will be something better in the future, provided by SOF.
All right.
Yeah, but those are also good options. I know the MK is, I know the people at both those companies, and those are good options. But I am working on something myself, so if you guys could give me a couple months, you guys will see what I'm working on.
Neil says the Occam Merc rail is the best current front end modernization in his opinion. I would have to
Yes.
agree as far as free floating something. It's probably the best way to free float your AK that I even know of right now.
Yeah. Let's just say that the SOF stuff is going to be working with the Occam stuff.
Kevin wants to know about the Meridian Defense Pestilence. I may have shot one a couple times. I've seen them a bunch in the wild, and they've always been nice when I've seen them, but I don't have a ton. I might be getting one soon to try out,
Nice.
but we'll see.
I've actually never held a Meridian gun, so if you see me somewhere and you have one, let me see it.
Mario, when are you going to finish my North Korean Type 68?
Hey, what's up, man? Well, as soon as possible, I guess.
AK slap charging handle on an AK question mark?
Heck no. Get that junk out of here.
Yeah, that's weird. Let's see.
Get it out of here. Sorry, guys. I'm not a big HK fan. I never have been.
T-Rex Arms has good drills to save on ammo and get a lot of reps in. Well, there you go. Go watch some of those videos.
I was about to say possibly. I've never watched a video from. I mean, I don't say never, but I don't spend much time on that guy's page.
Matt always learning. No, like our SLR 106 is gone forever. You're never going to get a new production one unless they find one that they haven't sold yet. They're not going to make them anymore. Not in Bulgaria.
Yep. Arsenal Bulgaria told Arsenal USA that they could say bye bye to that because they weren't making them anymore. They have military contracts to fulfill.
Does Robski from AK Operators Union ever come to the matches? Never seen him at a match that I've shot. I've heard he's gone to a couple of K-Cons. I think that's it. I think K-Con is the only match I've ever heard of him going to.
Yeah. Isn't he like military as well right now? Like he's serving? So I'm pretty sure he's like probably.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Man, Wick with the questions. How many intentional hours would you estimate it would take to get to the level of an intermediate competition shooter?
Man, that's a good question. Haven't put too much thought into that. But there is a study that says that if you put in, an hour of your day to a certain practice for 100 days out of the year, you will become much better than the same person in that area. So, I mean, if you really put all the right preparations into, competition shooting for an hour or two a day for, 100 days, I'm pretty sure that'll get you somewhere. A lot of the stuff that I do has been just, I slowly have learned it within the past 5 years of shooting competitively. And one of the biggest helps for me was surrounding myself with the right people. And also looking up to like the guys that are doing it at a high level. I can't even tell you how many times I've been on Josh Frolich Instagram and just looked at his footwork and looked at the way that he moves around stages, and then I'll go and mimic that in my backyard. The number of times I've watched Kyle Litzy go in and out of shooting positions, and how many times I've gone to mimic that. So I would say, what's that saying? Practice makes perfect, but I changed it to where I say practice makes better, because you're never going to be perfect. So if you just practice, it's going to make you better.
The only thing I'll add to that, I think some people are a bit more natural than other people. Some people just are natural shooters and they pick up on it much faster. Other people have been shooting matches for 20 years and, you know, they kind of stay at the same level all the time. But some people just really take to it like a duck to water.
Yep.
So your mileage may vary.
Yep. And also, I'm a big believer in this as well. I think you get out what you put in. So if you're putting in a lot of good energy into what you're doing, you're going to get out a lot of good stuff about it.
Knocknov says, what's both of y'all's opinion on the Midwest Industries Alpha AK products? Oh, you mean like this one? I'm not a huge fan of this. I tried it. It's really heavy.
Yeah.
And the only reason I have this, we've got that Mark 23 here, and Krebs sent a couple of different stocks because it just mounts with a pick. Dude,
Right.
this has to weigh 5 times the weight of that regular SIG MCX stock.
Wow.
This is so heavy.
Yeah, I saw some of the stuff at the KCON match. There's a couple guys that had like the whole setup, you know, the buttstock, the handguard, the dust cover. And it was extremely heavy. It was heavier than Zynico stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the weight could help to a certain extent for the recoil management, but outside of that, I mean, it's another good product out there, just another option. So I'm not gonna say it's bad, but you know, it's definitely another option out there to look at.
I think Mario's beating around the bush. I don't think he liked it much when he saw it. One of your homies work at Midwest. Is that what you're doing? You got a friend over there?
And I just dance around it that way. I don't receive cease and desist letters, you know.
Yeah, and who knows? You might get set up as a distributor for MI. So
Right, exactly.
who knows? Battle Bean says, Clay, do you still have your 545 glows? Yeah, I got all 3 of them. Can't afford to shoot them anymore, so they're just collectibles now.
Yep.
Favorite mags for 556 AKs?
I mean, Circle 10. That's kind of a given. But I do like the new followers that people are making that go into the 545 magazines. Pod Arms is one of them. The Combat Accountant Neo, my buddy Neo, he's making followers as well. He's in partnership with Pro 2 Customs, and they're taking 545 Bulgarian mags, putting those the followers, the 2 to 3 followers in them, and the mags were great. Yep.
Some of them here. He sent me a box of them. I haven't popped them in any mags yet.
Yep. Yeah, those,
you know
those they work great.
Yeah. I've had really good luck with the FB Baril mags, the green translucent mags. They seem to work in a lot of different variants of 556 AK.
And what's cool about those is that like they're not steel reinforced, but they're made out of this like really weird plastic that's like kind of indestructible.
Yeah, it doesn't crack or split. It's like
Yeah.
It
It's
can
like
like
blubber.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the translucent plastic Bulgarian mags, they all break the feed lips. They look cool, but they all break. Every single one I have, the feed lips split off.
Yep.
Black ones.
Well,
are
I had
good,
a circle. Yeah, I had a Circle 10 mag that went down on me at the match. So I chucked it in the trash can. Everybody was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And I was like, "Bro, it's broken." And they're like, "What? It'd be a good mag for pictures." I was like, "Well, you could take it then."
Bad Habit says, Clay, how come I never seen you review a Sam 7 SF84E? Just never had access to one.
That's a good reason.
Let's see. Let me look for some good ones here.
Seen Mario throw his Circle 10 in the trash.
So what's the price point on this future SOF kit, and will it be compatibility only with stamped receivers or milled as well? I guess he means this comp ready rock and lock AK with a dope sheet.
Yep. So as of now, it's going to be in 223 caliber. The full furniture set is going to be SOF Defense furniture. And the price point, you're going to be right around $3,800 to the $4,000 range. But like I said, it's going to come with everything, just turnkey, ready for you to show up to a match and just start to kick ass.
And I'm telling you, like, some people, to be honest with you, some people in the comments might go, what? Like, might get a little sticker shock with that. Dude, I can tell you, to get one, if you really want that one AK to be the one, to really get it ready, to go out and get the dope, to just getting a dope sheet out to whatever, 500 yards, 1,000 yards, whatever, is expensive. The spotting scope, everything else, getting a dope sheet is not that easy to do. One that you can really trust.
And the time as well. That's
Yeah.
one thing that's one people that have to consider is when you're paying for something like this is the time. For me to do a dope sheet on one rifle could take me up to a whole hour, if not more. So, having multiples of that, and then not only that, but the drive to the range, the setting up, and everything. Time is money, right?
Mm-hmm. It's so funny how the tables have turned. How much time it takes to build an AK from a kit with hand selected parts, to tuning it for ammo, to building the dope sheet. The amount of time and skill just for all that is expensive. It takes a lot of time, and it's just so funny how AKs years ago just used to be these cheap, good enough guns. And now people in this country are building them to such a high quality standard for a very specific purpose,
Yep.
that you can buy a really nice, really expensive, because they are nice, AK that is absolutely purpose built.
Yep.
It's pretty cool times that we're living in, I think.
Definitely. Like I said, at least with my mindset, it's always based around the competition aspect of it.
I need you so bad.
All right. So we're a little over 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find like 3 really good questions, and then we're going to let Mario get back to doing family stuff. And it's after 10 o'clock over here. So let me find 3 really good questions.
It's funny because I'm at a friend's house, and like I put this up because they have a whole bunch of stuff behind me, and Mateo's like trying to get into there because he needs something. I'm like, no, you have to wait.
Let's see. God, there's a lot of questions. Still have 130 people watching. We never have that many people watching 2 hours in. So
I appreciate everybody watching.
yes.
And if you guys have like more build inquiries or anything like that, remember you could email me at sales at sofdefense.com, and I'm responding either late at night or early morning. So I'm getting back to everybody that shoots me an email.
Jerry K has a good question. When you wipe, do you sit or stand?
You sit down. For all you guys that stand, you guys are gross.
Yeah. 100%.
And then everybody says, "How do you do it?" Blah blah blah. Sitting down. This is how you do it. Look right here. Lift up a little bit, and you that motion right there.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
But chicks never do this.
Yeah. When you stand up, all that stuff squishes together. Now you have to waffle stomp. You got to take a shower.
Yep. You have to waffle stomp after that. Yep. Desiree is like standing in front of me right here, and she just has this look of like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?"
Yeah, she can't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, use a squatty potty. I do. The Airbnb we had last weekend, my bathroom had a squatty potty. It was meant to be.
Oh, nice. Yeah, ours didn't.
Would you ever do a California class? This is for both of you. If so, come to San Diego. We have great Mexican food.
So I know San Diego has the original Tacos El Gordo, so you're not lying there. And California class, you know what? I'm open to it. I do have people in California that I know. And yeah, I've built plenty of AKs for Californians as well. So that's something that I'm definitely open to.
Bad Habit Arms. Any suggestions on a good chest rig and a good starter match for new AK guys?
So a chest rig, obviously, I'm going to say Davidoff. But if you can't afford that, the Chinese ones are also work great. Yeah, those. I mean, you can find those surplus websites everywhere. I mean, outside of that, even I mean, I hate to say this, but if you're like really on a budget, either like your airsoft ones will work. That's just if you're on a budget. But if you're not on the budget, hit up my boy Davidoff.
Yeah, and they look super fly.
Yep, exactly.
So let's say it's your first AK match. There's a few different ones to choose from. What would you say? What would be the first one for a beginner, a newbie?
For an AK,
Yes.
so a Wasser for sure.
Oh no, I'm sorry, an AK match. The
Oh, an
first time
AK match. First time AK match. I would have to say a Kalash Bash, bro. A Kalash Bash, because not only are you going to get a good shooting experience, because the guys over at Dissident Arms do a good job of keeping it fun, but also challenging, and they also take in consideration that it's going to be someone's first match. So you put all those things together, and it's going to make a great match. And then on top of that, you're going to get the best community environment at Kalash Bash. So you're going to get the best of the match and community all at once. So it's going to be Kalash Bash for sure. Because there's other matches where you're going to get better shooting, but you're not going to get the same community vibe.
Jonathan says, thanks for all this information. Much appreciated. Really is good info. Dude, you'd be surprised how many people reach out and they're like, where are people finding out about all these AK matches? Because I guess people assume there's like some website. I go to akmatch.com and I just look at all of them and see them. You kind of have to have your ear to the ground and just go seek them. You have to follow people on Instagram. You have to follow the Facebook pages. There's not like a centralized location where they're all posted.
Right.
A lot of them, it's all word of mouth, honestly. A lot of matches are like that.
And one of the things that I'm going to start doing when I ship these guns, that I produce for competition, is the idea that you gave me. I'm going to start including the list of the AK matches that there is nationwide. So that way, people now have their AK where they can go compete with, but they also have a list of matches where they could go compete at.
Such a great idea, and that's just more value when you buy one of these guns. I mean, think about it. You're getting an AK that literally Mario is building you the same AK he's built for himself, and he's gone out and taken first place 3 days in a row and at other matches. You're getting an AK that's capable. You just have to do the other half. But you're also getting the full list of, in that moment in time, all the AK matches. And then it really gives you time to, because some of the stuff you got to travel to, you just have to get used to traveling if you want to go to the good stuff. Not everything's 2 hours away. It's just not.
Yep.
That would be a really good list to have. Yeah, people are saying practice score. And, practice score, you can find just about everything. However, if you don't know the specific name of the match, it might not pull up.
Right. And not only that, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people where, like, if I'm going to go somewhere new, I'm very hesitant. Like, I need to know someone that's there or something like that. Like, I'm that kind of person that I kind of want to know someone that's been there already. For example, this KCON match that we're talking about, Zach Smith was the one that told me about it. And he was the one that was like, you need to go. And, I was like, well, if Zach said it, I need to go. And not only that, but then with my buddy Neil going, it was kind of just like, okay, cool. Now I have somebody to go with, which made it easier as well.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's almost like watching a movie on someone's recommendation. Like we were talking about this the other day. Like, dude, I won't watch a show if I don't like the first 10 minutes of it. Like when someone, matches are that way. Some of this stuff, the tickets are like $200. And you're going to spend that in gas getting there. Now you got to get a hotel. You got to dedicate 1,000 rounds. That's $300. It's kind of hard to go do that on a whim. So it's nice when someone that has shot the match and they can validate your financial decision, your commitment you're making to shooting that match. So yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
Right.
All right. So I think we have one more question for Mario. I'm going to look for a good one here.
All right.
We've ended on some good ones. Let's see. A lot of people are talking about matches that they're thinking about shooting.
Yep. Are 545 cranks overrated? No, they're not.
No, the 545 crank's the biggest flex. It's the biggest flex.
Right. That's my that's the dream gun that I actually don't have.
So let me think of the final question. People are honestly just talking amongst themselves right now. We still have 134 people watching right now, which is crazy to me. But I guess my final question to you is, because you are of the AK community, as you say, Uh, and because the AK community has basically provided a career for you.
Mhm.
Your career is the AK community. You're building them, you shoot them, and all of that helps you put food on your table. What would you say, in your opinion, was the thing that really really sunk the hook in, that really got you into the AK community, that really sparked that initial interest, that started the butterfly effect that led on to everything else?
It was Red October 2016, going to that first match, and I remember showing up, getting off the car, and there's Jim Fuller right there standing, and he's like setting up all the machine guns on the table, and he's like kind of preparing for the day. I showed up super early, and I just remember going up to him and just talking for a little bit, and we talked about the machine guns on the table. He let me shoot a couple at no cost. That was like crazy to me back then. And then I go back to the hotel that night, and I'm just like mind blown. I'm just like, man, I just met Jim Fuller. I just shot some guns. I was such a nerd that I even picked up the empty shell casings of the machine guns that I shot, and I put them in a little baggie as like to remember that day. And I still have those casings. That's the funny part. And I remember going the next day and watching you shoot, you and Chris, and you guys were shooting with Corinne Mush. Remember Corinne Musher? Her name was something like that.
Yeah, Corrine.
Corrine. Watching her shoot and watching you guys shoot, and I didn't know who you were or anything, and I just kept walking around and watching some other guys shoot. At that time, Sam Travis, he was from Phoenix, and he won the overall match. And
Yep,
I remember watching him. Watching him shoot, and I was just like, man, like I fell in love with not only the platform that day, but just the whole community and just everything about it. So I remember just going home and just thinking to myself, like, all right, like, what can I do to be part of this community, And that's when I started just building stuff in my garage and, buying guns and modifying them and, starting to compete with AKs, getting ready for the next year's match. And, yeah, so that first Red October really just hooked me in, man. And I just haven't looked back ever since, man. Like I even remember just looking for ways to get out of the industry that I was in and to try to get into to basically what I'm doing now. And yeah, that first match, man, just hooked me in. And I think another time where I really got sunk into the community was when I did my Boba Fett 74 build. Like I was consumed on just making that gun shoot as flat and as accurate as possible, and that just consumed me. It consumed me of like putting everything that I had into this gun, from tuning it to zeroing it to shooting it, and that right there too really hooked me in big time. Because before that, I was just running AKs that weren't really heavy modified or just didn't really. I remember I used to sign up for the open division and would show up like with iron sights because I didn't really know what was going on. So once I built that Boba Fett 74, and then I was just like, oh, there's divisions and there's like different attachments that I could add on to this to make it shoot better and blah 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 blah. Yep. And that gun right there really hooked me into like doing stuff for the competitive scene, like building AKs for the competition market. That gun right there. There's a video if you can find it. I'm doing the jungle run at KB, and the first couple of shots that I take, and like you can see the action and how flat it is. It's super gnarly. Yeah, I just keep going down.
I remember seeing that gun in person, and you actually had like blaster holes in the dust cover, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah, I even took that gun out hunting. Like I said, that gun really elevated my skills. I spent a lot of time behind that gun and getting it to the point where it was, and that gun really hooked me into to competing. Yeah, it's gonna be somewhere here, around here. Keep going down.
This one
Yep,
here.
that jungle run. Yep. Yes. Look at that. Look at that gun shoot. There's no recoil. On a couple of those paper targets, I had basically like touching the rounds, and Chris was the RO
Yep.
on that stage. And I remember one guy was trying to tape the target and was like, "Oh, he only got one hit." And Chris is like, "No, dude, this is 2 rounds in one hole." And there was a couple of them that were like that. Man, that gun, man, I love that gun.
Well, on that note, I remember that gun, and I remember seeing it at Red October. God, what was that? It was 2018 Red October, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I think it was 2018. I remember seeing it up close, and that's when I remember seeing that gun up close and thinking, dude, this dude's legit. Like, I remember seeing like the blaster hole, which you can barely see it there. You literally had like a blaster hole that looked like a real blaster shot a hole through the dust cover, every bit of it, because you see a lot of Boba Fett guns.
Right.
I mean, it's easy to do a very bad Boba Fett gun. I mean, it's almost like Punisher skulls at this point, but this one was awesome. I remember in that moment thinking, dude, okay, Mario can do some freaking cool shit.
Yeah, this is when me and Brian started working together finally on doing cool themed guns. You know, this is when me and Brian from Pro 2 Customs collaborated on and started doing just some awesome themed guns after this. And like I said, this is the gun that hooked me into that. You know, just knowing that I had the capability of doing this is, yeah, as you can tell, I posted a lot about it.
And I have to also agree with you at Red October the 1st, and even Bad Element's in the chat. That's the first time I met Bad Element. He was running. Do you remember he was running around with a flight suit? And you know what's so funny about that whole thing? You and I were both at the first Red October. We probably never even spoke to each other. Like, had no idea who each other was. You
I
finally,
didn't even compete.
Yeah. So we met officially the year after that.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it funny that I think we both went to something that lit a fire under us, and it was Red October 2016 for me. I completely forgot about all my other interests. Like I remember at the time I had a Jeep. I was all into off-roading. Like, that's all I eat, sleep, and breathe that stuff. Dude, I completely lost interest. I sold all my ARs. I bought quality AKs. Like, that's all I cared about. I consumed all the YouTube videos, got into Mishiko, joined AK Files, got on Facebook pages, like everything. I didn't even just started an Instagram page back when it was only used for like taking pictures of your food. It had so much of an effect on me, just like you said. And what's so funny, here it is all these years later, and here we are having a live stream, and it's changed our lives. It's totally changed our lives, the trajectory that it sent us both on. And now we're back here talking on a live stream. It's just cool how that works out.
Yep. Definitely. I sit down and think about that all the time, honestly.
Well, dude, on that note, it's 2.5 hours, man. And we've taken too much of your time away from the fam. And I got to go put gas in Rachel's truck. But, dude, leave us with a final thought, man. And then we'll be done with this. And thank you, everyone that has been commenting, that's been, giving the floor to Mario this whole time. Still 130 freaking people watching. Hit him with a final thought, dude.
As you hit it, you just said it, man. The community, the people, the support, man. It's just, I never go a day without thanking my supporters and everybody that as a part of this AK community, because it's a small community, and that's why I try to make it to every match. I try to make it to every event. I try to mingle with as many people as possible, because you guys are the reasons why I'm in this position, and I'm doing what I love because of the support that everybody gives me. So I'm a product of this community, and my job now is to give back to this community. And like I said, I'm going to measure my success not by how many matches I win or anything like that. I'm going to measure my success by as many people I can help do well at matches and possibly even win a podium at matches. And that's going to be my goal with my company, SOF Defense.
And with that, appreciate all of you all watching. Make sure you go follow Mario on Instagram. Tell this dude he needs to start making some YouTube videos again. And check out SOF Defense on Instagram. Pay attention. Get ready for some cool stuff. If you have work that you need done, you can email Mario at mario@sofdefense.com. Maybe slide up in his DMs, but I would highly recommend with gunsmiths, just send him an email. It's the best way to stay organized.
Actually, do the sales at sofdefense.com.
Sales at SOF Defense. All right, everyone. Hope you had a great Memorial Day. Have fun at work tomorrow. We'll see you later.
Later, y'all.